2 weeks ago, Jim Hart suffered a shoulder separation in a game against Dallas. He is expected to be out of action at least 3 weeks. But the Cardinal quarterback, who started 65 straight games prior to the injury, will be in today's starting lineup. His counterpart for the Eagles, Ron Jaworski, is a top-rated quarterback in the NFC, hitting 55% of his passes, good for 9 touchdowns and a conference low 4 interceptions. It's the Eagles versus the Cardinals.
The NFL on CBS. Today's game is sponsored by Mobil 1, the synthetic motor oil that can save you gas and oil changes. Light beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. And by Ford and your Ford dealer, who invite you to see and test drive the all-new LTD and Mustang.
Welcome to Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, the home of the Eagles, who come in here with a 4-4 record, playing host to the St. Louis Cardinals, who are 0-8, still looking for their first win under Coach Bud Wilkinson. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Bender, along with Hank Stram. And Hank, the Eagles are entertaining thoughts of getting into the playoffs, but they have a tough team in the Cardinals. They've lost 8 in a row to them.
Well, they can't worry about playoffs. They have to worry about St. Louis this afternoon. And talking to a lot of the St. Louis players, you know, they're very enthusiastic about this game. They feel strongly about the fact that they can win. They feel good about the fact that Jim Hart has returned to the starting lineup. So I think it's going to be a much better game than a lot of people think it's going to be.
Well, Bud Wilkinson's still looking for his first win. He gave the team Monday and Tuesday off, and then Wednesday he came in, he said, we're starting a new season.
Bud's an excellent coach. He knows what it means to be psychologically involved with a football team. He knows what to say, how to say it. He did the right thing by using that kind of an approach, and I think they're going to do everything they possibly can to start a new season today.
All right, this is the new kicker, Mike Wood, who the Cardinals picked up for this game. The Cardinals come in here winning 10 of the last 11 against the Eagles, 8 in a row, and the last time Philadelphia's won here in Veterans Stadium, 1971. Woods will do the punting, I should say Wood, as well as the kickoffs. And he got into that one. This is Billy Camfield, a rookie from Kansas. He brings it out the 10 to the 20, and he's to the 23-yard line. The Eagles with a 4-4 record. If they would win today, they would match their victory output of the 1977 season, as Dick Vermeil's team has been a surprise. There's that forward wall, and it is a good one. Stan Walters, one of the best pass blockers in the NFL. And Ron Jaworski, the top-rated passer in the NFC, and Montgomery leading the NFC in rushing. Franklin playing in place of the injured Mike Hogan. Kreftley, who last week caught a touchdown pass, and Harold Carmichael, who comes in here with a catch in 88 straight games. First down for Philadelphia. Jaworski gives, play action fake, beautiful fake, complete to Kreftley, and Kreftley to the 45-yard line, first down. Carl Allen made the stop, and Hank, that was beautifully faked that time by Jaworski.
Yes, it was. It was a play action pass. Jaworski goes back into the pocket, fakes to the running back, and Kreftley is wide open in the seam in what we call the zone defense that everybody's heard so much about. But there was a short man and a deep one. He hit right between the two of them, and it's a 1st and 10 situation for the Philadelphia Eagles.
There's the defensive line. Bob Pollard, the leading tackler for the Cardinals thus far this year. From the 45, a first down. Jaworski giving off to Wilbert Montgomery, the exciting performer, second-year man from Abilene Christian. And Montgomery, who comes in, are averaging 5 yards a carry, is stopped by Kurt Allerman and Mark Arneson. Pick up a 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7. The linebacking core, Eric Williams, an outstanding performer in the middle, and Mark Arneson, the veteran, in the right-hand side. Back deep, Whirling Allen at the corners, the rookie Ken Green, and the surprising Ken Stone. 2nd down and 7. Jaworski wanted to throw again, far side, a flag on the play. Incomplete, intended for Kenny Payne. A flag thrown just about the time that play developed. Carl Allen defending on the far side against Ken Payne.
Well, Kenny Payne that time tried to run a square out pattern to a short pattern of 6 yards in front of Carl Allen, number 27. Bob Pollard came through there in good shape. Number 82 made Jaworski throw the ball over the top. But in conjunction with that, there was a penalty on the play. We'll see what the call was.
We've got a holding call coming up against the Eagles, and this is something we're seeing a lot of this year. Chuck Heberling and his crew working today's game.
Holding. Offense Number 50, second down.
That is Guy Morris, the center for the Eagles, so that'll move the ball back to the 38-yard line. Second down now and 12 yards to go. Philadelphia with the #1 rusher in the NFC and the #1 rated passer in the NFC. This team has come together this year in the third year under the direction of Dick Vermeil. Jaworski on the second down. This is Wilbert Montgomery. Montgomery is going to be racked up at about the line of scrimmage. Good reaction that time by the Cardinals. That was Eric Williams who came flying over there. And a man is shaken up for the Cardinals at the 40-yard line. Wilbert Montgomery made nothing on that play. Good reaction by the Cardinal defensive corps.
You know, that was a quick screen, and as you mentioned, Williams did a good job on the play, and so did Ellerman. Number 50 did a good job of responding to the area where they were throwing the football, and as a result, no gain on the play to speak of.
So Tim Carney is going to come into the lineup. We've got a timeout here at the vet. No score with 13 minutes, 8 seconds to go in the first quarter. The man that was shaken up was the guy that made that tackle, Eric Williams. He's replaced by Tim Carney. As now the Eagles come to a third down, 16 yards to go. The ball just across their own 38-yard line. They have Payne along with Carmichael flanked out. Payne, by the way, is playing with some new contact lenses. He's been having some trouble in catching the football. Almost jumping offside was Dawson. Here's Jaworski back. He's got a man. Kenny Payne is picked off. Carl Allen's got it. Allen picking off that pass. It was badly underthrown. Jaworski getting a lot of pressure to the near side, and the Cardinals with the first turnover of the game, and Carl Allen with his second interception of the year.
They have a blitz. They have a blitz coming. Jaworski saw it, trying to get out of the traffic. Threw the ball much shorter than he should have. He had a guy open, but it's intercepted there by Carl Allen, number 27.
Well, the Cardinals had the football. At the top of the show, we mentioned Jaworski had only 4 interceptions. That was low in the conference, but he just threw his 5th. There's the offensive line, and this is the first time all year long the Cardinals have been intact up there. They've had so many injuries. Hart starting. There's Gray, who has 30 catches coming into the game. First down at the 36-yard line. In motion is Tilley. Hart to throw on first down. He's got Gray down there. Gray to the 25-yard line, Mel Gray to the 20. And that's the guy the Eagles fear so much, Mel Gray, 4th in the NFC. That is his 31st catch of the year. John Sanders caught up with him at the 20, and Hank, he couldn't have been more wide open.
No, and it was a slot formation to the left, a play-action pass with both Pat Tilley and Mel Gray on the left side. He throws back to the left side. Mel Gray is wide open. You see him. In fact, he has to wait for the ball. Had he not had to wait, he'd have been able to go all the way for the score. He licked right cornerback 46, Herman Edwards, on the play.
34-yard pickup to the 20-yard line for St. Louis. Jim Otis has always played well against Philadelphia. Hammers inside for 3. It was Otis who scored the winning touchdown back on November 20th, 1977, with 38 seconds left. That picked up the last Cardinal win. That was the last time they won. It was in Busch Stadium against Philadelphia. There's Charlie Johnson, the big nose tackle out of Colorado. Sistrunk and Hairston. They've done a very good job up front. Wilkes, a rookie who's played very well, and everybody knows number 66, Bill Berge.
The Cardinals have not been able to run very well. They're 11th in rushing offense. One thing they better do today is block Bill Berge, number 66, on runs.
On a 2nd and 8, here's Otis cutting back, and he's inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line. And you can see Jim read that extremely well at time. And he is the type of runner that always looking for those openings.
He's got great eyes. He has terrific eyes. By that I mean he never closes them. When he's running with a football, he's always looking for a place to go, for a seam, for some kind of a crack to hit. That was a great illustration of it, but he does that as well as anybody in professional football.
3rd and 5. Otis needs 95 yards today to become the all-time Cardinal rusher. He would surpass the record by Johnny Rowland. Here's Hart giving off to Wayne Morris. Morris getting a couple of 3, but it's going to bring up 4th down, and it'll bring in the field goal team. Well, they started on the field. Then they held up momentarily. Jim Bakken and Worley started onto the field. There may be some indecision. We'll see where that ball is for sure. But it is 4th down, still 2. And here comes Jim Bakken in. Bakken has hit 6 of 13 thus far. Last week kicking a 41-yarder. And this is going to be a 29-yard field goal attempt. Roger Worley to hold. Bakken playing in his 225th consecutive game today. Bakken gets it underway. And that kick is no good. Bakken missing from 29 yards out.
That's really incredible. We saw him play against Miami, and he missed one about the same distance against the Miami Dolphins, remember?
It's 0-0 at the vet. Well, the Cardinals, after the interception, moving the football on the big pass of 34 yards to Gray, and then a 29-yard field goal goes awry. There's the score, New England leading 7-0. We'll keep you posted on the scores throughout the NFL. From the 20-yard line, the Eagles have the football for the second time. Jaworski off to Wilbert Montgomery, and Montgomery to the 25, a pickup of 5. And Hank, the Eagles feel they can run right at St. Louis.
Yes, I think, both teams are employing the same personality defensively. They're both using a 3-4. It's very obvious, I think, going into the game with the great running attack of the Philadelphia Eagles. They're second in running. St. Louis is 11th against the run, but they're going to try to run it up the middle and run at those linebackers, and they did a good job that time of running at Dawson 73 and picking up 5 yards, a 2nd and 5.
From the 25-yard line, 9:19 to go, first quarter, no score. Jaworski giving off to Montgomery again, and he gets 2, and that's all. And those are hard-earned yards that time. A spun around by Mike Dawson, the man that Hank mentioned, number 73. Now, we're going to watch 73 closely.
Here they're running to the right. They're trying to cut off the inside linebacker, Allerman. There you see Montgomery getting hit. And just makes a couple of yards on a play. Mike Dawson, 73, made the tackle.
3rd down and 3. Uh-oh. And here they come. Tim Carney comes across. As you saw what happened, Montgomery fell forward and then tried to hold. And as an end result, the Cardinals came storming through. And let's see what's going to happen on this. We'll have illegal procedure against. Well, they're going to actually have a delay of game, I guess, against the Eagles. All kinds of mix-ups. Sometimes that'll happen, Hank. You're so fired up, and the Eagles are. They want to end this long skein against the Cardinals. They might be a little too high right now.
Yes, and let's listen to the call.
Number 7, offense.
That was Jaworski, illegal procedure or delay of game on that. A 5-yard penalty. Moving back to the 31.5 or make that the 21.5-yard line. Payne, Carmichael, the wide receivers.
Let's see if they try to hit carefully. If they're going to throw the football, try to do something with a tight end.
On a 3rd down and 8. On the 3rd and 8, good protection for Jaworski. And there's a big tight end, as you called it, Mr. Stram, and a 1st down for Philadelphia.
Boy, I think he whistled that ball right in there, right between the linebackers and the defensive back. But Krefli was open right in the middle area. Jaworski goes back into the pocket nicely and really whistles it right in between all the traffic. Does a great job and a beautiful catch by Krefli. 1st down for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Krefli last week had 4 catches for 100 yards, including a 34-yard touchdown catch. Well, he's having quite a year. He came in here with 21 catches for the year. 1st down. And firing off goes the man we were just talking about, Krefli. And Hank, again, I think these Eagles are just hiring a kite right now, making some of those mental mistakes.
Well, it's all concentration. That's all it is. You can call it anything you want, but you can't make excuses for what happened. You have to have a reason. There was no reason. He just jumped offside because of the lack of concentration, and as a result, it puts this Philadelphia team in a bind right off the bat with 1st and 15, which is something that you don't like to do.
With Hank Stram, I'm Gary Bender, and we have 7:41 left in this first quarter.
False start, number 84, offense.
Chuck Heberlein indicating Keith Krefli. Let's look at it. Well, he's just outside the picture, but you can see
you couldn't get a
Dawson
good view
reacting
of
to it. First and 15. Here comes Cleveland Franklin, a big fullback, and Franklin across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Here's a guy they're very high on, and he's going to see a lot of playing time today because Mike Hogan is slowed with a groin injury. Franklin last year carried the ball only one time, but he's been averaging just about 4 yards a carry this year.
That was a good call on the part of Jaworski on a long yardage situation. It's obvious that a lot of people think he's going to throw the football, but the one thing you don't want to do is try to get it all back on one play. He did a good job. Now he winds up with 2nd and 8.
The ball at the 35-yard line. Jaworski again. Dawson with the pressure. Montgomery, and he's stormed under by Steve Niels. Good reaction first by Dawson, and then Steve Niels. That's one of those cases where he might have been better not catching the football.
Yeah, or Jaworski shouldn't have thrown it because there was no way in the world that Montgomery could see people out there in front of him. Jaworski did. He threw it anyhow, and they wound up losing a lot of yardage on the play.
So it was Mike Dawson that really fouled that play up for Philadelphia as he came storming up the middle. And we come to a 3rd down, and now 20 yards to go. San Francisco leading Washington, and the Redskins have lost 2 in a row. 49ers have been struggling with only 1 victory thus far. From the 24-yard line, 3rd and 20. Dawson almost firing off. Jaworski. This is Montgomery. He's out to the 30, 35, and he's to the 39-yard line. It'll bring up a 4th down. But you could see on that play the quickness of Wilbert Montgomery.
Once he gets out in the open, and that's what they like. That was a quick screen, but they like to throw it.
And he is shaken up, Hank.
But they like to throw it out in an area where the linebacker has a 10 to 12-yard area to try to make an open field tackle, which is very difficult to do against this fine runner.
You know, last week he had the wind knocked out of him, and that loss to Dallas also had a gash on his nose as he was hit on the top of his helmet. The helmet came down and hit him on the nose. And now he's shaken up at the 39-yard line. It's still 4th down, 5 yards to go for the Eagles. We're going to have to get rid of the football. Hope nothing serious on this guy who's just been really one of the big stories this year in the NFL season. All right, next Saturday, 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central and Pacific, we have some boxing coming your way, a live telecast. As unbeaten Olympic gold medalist Howard Davis, 8-0, will take on lightweight Louis Davila in a 10-round bout. Davila, by the way, is quite a boxer in his own right. He represented Puerto Rico in the 1972 Olympic Games. And then the world's strongest man. 10 men competing, and it'll be the wheelbarrow race. 750 pounds in the wheelbarrow, and they've got to go 100 feet on the course.
I wonder what kind of license they have to get involved in that kind of a race.
It's the 5th event of the decathlon events in the world's strongest men. Let's look back and see if we can pick up the injury to Montgomery. Awful hard to tell, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Ken Green was in a good tackling position and a good hitting position. It's hard to tell what really took place and what the injury is. We'll find out, I'm sure, in just a few seconds.
He is now sitting up, and he's going to get up, and he's very groggy. Limping a little bit. And the Eagles can ill afford to lose this guy, who came in here with 744 yards rushing. He's had 4 100-yard days. First guy since Steve Van Buren in 1949 to accomplish that feat for the Eagles. This is Mike Michel, who's back to kick. He's a punter who they picked up a couple of weeks ago out of Stanford. He kicked for the Miami Dolphins last year. Big rush is put on. And the ball is fumbled by Will Harrell. Harrell's in trouble. Will Harrell at the 13-yard line, and you can see the reaction. Excellent coverage that time by Philadelphia. Billy Campfield, the first to get down there for the Eagles. So the Cardinals do not have the good field position, but they have the football. No score, 5:19 to go, first quarter. So from the 13-yard line, that's where the Cardinals get it after Harrell had a tough time hanging on. Mel Gray, Pat Tilley, the two wide receivers. Tight end coming to the near side is Al Chandler. This is Jim Otis. And Otis to the 15-yard line. Charlie Johnson, the nose tackle. What a find he was a year ago. 7th-round draft choice for the Philadelphia Eagles. A 2-year Army veteran, serving some duty in Vietnam. So from the 15-yard line, it'll be second down now and 8 yards to go.
You know, one of the things that's very important with the 3-4 defense is that you can't play it efficiently unless you've got a guy in the nose of the center who can lick that man and create a situation where you have double team blocking on him.
Tom Banks is the guy that Johnson's nose up on. This is Otis again. And Jim is buried at the 18-yard line. Otis, in the last meeting between these two, had 97 yards rushing. He had 116 yards in an earlier meeting. Dennis Harrison, a big rookie at 6'8", 275 pounds, made the stop for the Eagles. It comes to a third down and still 5 yards to go. 5 defensive backs now come in. John Shira checks into the backfield for Philadelphia. Gray will go to the top of the screen. Tilley to the bottom. Chandler. That's Chandler, number 87, jumping into the tight end spot. Flag on the play. Hart. Complete to Chandler, and Chandler to the 25, but flags everywhere. Chandler starting today in place of Eason Ransom, who was out last week with a stomach virus and lost a lot of weight, so they did not start him today. A penalty against Philadelphia. So that would be a first down catch to the 25-yard line.
And I think they're going to have to throw more on first down also, Gary. They did that on the first play of the game and did a good job with it. I think they can control the ball.
Middle of the line. Refused. First down.
There's official signal on what happened in that last play from a penalty standpoint.
Well, they refused it because they got the first down to the 25. So the Cardinals now digging themselves out of some bad field position. They've got that offensive line in there intact, and that's good news for the Cardinals. Chandler in motion, play action, Hart, Pat Tilley. Boy, fine look-in pass, and that's another first down. Tilley, who was shut out last week, did not catch a pass the first time this season, has just latched on to his 28th of the year.
That was a good play-action pass. They faked inside and, of course, threw a nice strike to Tilley on the outside. Herman Edwards, number 46, was playing the defensive back position. It's a hard pass to cover, especially so because Hart threw it right at the numbers. It was perfectly thrown. First and 10, St. Louis.
Well, you never know that Hart suffered that shoulder separation 2 weeks ago. Way he's throwing the ball right now. First down, flag on the play. Hart's in trouble. What happened was Wayne Morris started before the ball was snapped, and everything was mixed up after that.
It looked like a Canadian football play that time with all kinds of people in motion. But those are the things that really kill you when you're moving along at a good pace and doing a good job offensively, and then you stop yourself by a lack of concentration, by being offsides or being in motion.
Second down.
Chuck Hemperling indicating that it was illegal procedure. So it'll bring up second down now. 13 yards to go from the 36-yard line. If you just joined us, the Eagles had the ball first. They threw the interception. Carl Allen picking it off. The Cardinals drove down the field and missed a 29-yard field goal. The Eagles have had the ball once since then, and now the Cardinals with their next opportunity. Hart. Wayne Morris, the intended receiver, but he had to get rid of that because the pressure was coming in.
And Morris was covered well, too, that time. He didn't have much of an option. Reggie Wilkes was in there, 51, doing a good job on the play.
Reggie Wilkes, number 51, the cousin of Jamal Wilkes, the fine basketball player in the NBA, according to Dick Vermeil, is the best young linebacking prospect he's ever seen come into the league.
That's quite a compliment, and he is a good football player.
He's been pressed into the starting duty because John Bunting is out for the year with an injury. Third down, 13.
See if they go to Chandler again.
This is Gray, wide open, look out. And Gray is to the 32-yard line, and Mel Gray has been wide open on 2 plays, just like nobody knew where he was. John Sanders made the tackle.
Here's Mel Gray. They got a strong zone that time. Watch the defensive back roll up. He gets beyond him, and then cuts to his left behind the linebacker. There's a big hole there. The ball is right on target, and you see him spin away from outlaw number 20 and goes down to about the 32-yard line. A beautifully executed play, Hart to Mel Gray.
33-yard pickup. So Gray has caught a 34-yarder and now a 33-yarder. Hart play action, looking into Gray, broken up and intercepted. The interception by the Eagle. Bill Berge. Boy, he is all over the football field. He leads the team in sacks, and he comes up with his first interception of the year. And Gray is hurt on the play. We expected this to be a hard-hitting game. Montgomery's already been shaken up. Eric Williams earlier, now Mel Gray.
They send Chandler in motion to the right, and they fake inside to Jim Otis. But Berge isn't influenced at all by the fake. He gets good depth on the play. Makes a beautiful interception. He's really a great football player. Boy, you have to block him and runs. If you don't block him, you're really in trouble. And the other thing that you have to do against Berge, you must run counters, reversals to keep him at home. A lot of strong, good play-action passes because he's all over the ballpark, and he's really murder if you don't take good care of him on every play.
Let's look ahead now to some of the action. The Eagles will be playing host to the Packers here next week. New Orleans, what a surprise they've been, going against Pittsburgh. And the Giants will be in Busch Stadium to go against the Cardinals. And then other action throughout the National Football League. San Francisco against Atlanta. Detroit, what a surprise win they had last week over San Diego, meeting the Minnesota Vikings, who upset Dallas on Thursday night. And then Dallas going against Miami. That ought to be a good one. And Tampa Bay against the Los Angeles Rams, who lost their first game last week. Be sure now to consult your local listings for the games and times in your area. Some cities will only see a single game due to the NFL blackout policy. And of course, each day we start it all with the NFL Today with Brent, Jane, and Irv. So stay with us. Looks like Gray shaking it off. He's not very big, Hank. You know, this is a guy that's playing in a big man's game. They list him at 173 pounds and at 5'9".
But he's got a big heart, and that's why he's able to play as well as he does and as long as he has with the St. Louis Cardinals.
So the turnover, we've had both teams now with interceptions. Earlier, Carl Allen, and now Bill Berge with his first interception of the year. Got a new running back in there. It's Billy Camfield, and Camfield breaks it out to the 40. He's to the 50, to the 40, and Billy Camfield is going to go out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. The 11th round draft pick from Kansas, playing in place of the injured Wilbert Montgomery. His first carry of the day, and he's all the way down to the 28-yard line.
And they run it right up the middle from the I formation. He starts to his left and goes right up the middle. The center does a very good job. Number 50, Guy Morris, does a great job on Dawson. And as a result, he's got plenty of room up the middle. He breaks to the sideline. He's got the ball in the right arm, away from pressure. And he's finally knocked out of bounds by Worley, number 22. The ball's now on the 27-yard line.
50-yard run. He had a 50-yard run in the preseason. Billy Camfield. Jaworski wanting to throw. Carmichael. And Carmichael now has caught a pass in 89 consecutive games. He keeps that streak alive, and it's now first down. The ball inside the 15 to the 13-yard line.
Ken Stone, number 23, made the tackle, but that was another play-action pass, the identical play that St. Louis ran just a moment ago that was intercepted. But he's a beautiful target. Jaworski got it right at the numbers, perfectly thrown, and he licked number 27, Carl Allen, the left corner, and I'm sure they're going to do some business on him the rest of the afternoon also.
So the Eagles are on the move with a first down. A minute 16 to go in this first quarter. No score thus far. Jaworski, play action, bootleg, being chased by Niels, and Niels made a very, very fine play.
Yes, he did. And that was a blitz. Jaworski saw it coming, and I think he thought maybe he could fake the ball, not tell anybody, and keep it himself. He tried to fool the linebackers, but he didn't, and as a result, lost about a yard on the play.
So back to the 14-yard line.
But it's still better than losing the ball back about 6 or 7 yards back, or maybe running a ball into a bad play. and creating a real problem for your offense.
Steve Niels has been playing this season with a fractured hand, has really been playing some fine football for the Cardinals. And there was a case in point.
Kenny Payne's in bump and run. See if he tries to go over the top.
Jaworski gives up the middle to Campfield, and the rookie is inside the 10. He's to about the 9, maybe the 8-yard line. Now they've got to get to the 3-yard line to get a first and goal situation. This Campfield is a weightlifter. He's 5'11", 189. He's one of the strongest players on the football team. And you could see it when he hit straight ahead on that play.
Yes, and the other thing here is they were in a bump and run that time on Kenny Payne. Carl Allen, 27. We'll see if he does it again, and if so, they might try to throw a pass over the top of him for a big play and a touchdown.
And the first quarter is over. So we start the second quarter play. We have a 3rd down and 6 for the Eagles. The ball at the 8-yard line. They've got to get to the 3 to get a first and goal. Jaworski thus far 6 of 7 for 51 yards and 1 interception in the game. Franklin and Campfield are running backs behind him. Jaworski. Carmichael, and he just had to get rid of that one because excellent coverage that time by Ken Green and also coming over there Carl Allen.
Yeah, they double covered the outside receivers that time, and there would have been a chance for the tight end or the backs, but he very wisely threw it over the top, and they're going to kick a field goal.
John Zook put some good pressure in on Ron Jaworski coming from that right defensive end spot. And now a field goal attempt coming up. Nick Nickemeyer, who's 5 of 10. Will be kicking a field goal of 25 yards in distance. John Shira to hold. Earlier, Bakken missed one from 29. Kicking at this very same end. And this kick is up, and the Eagles get it. Nickemeyer makes it a 3-0 game in favor of the Eagles with 14 minutes and 50 seconds left before halftime. So the Eagles, after the interception by Berge, able to convert it in to 3 points. 5-play, 69-yard drive for the Eagles, taking 2 minutes, 19 seconds, and a 25-yard field goal by Nickemeyer, who's kicking off again. Far side, this is Lee Nelson. Nelson having trouble with it. And the Cardinals are just having a tough time hanging on. Carroll earlier had trouble on the play. And flying down there is Mike Osborne as Dick Vermeil, who has his team now in a position to challenge for a playoff berth. They could go 6-2 in the back stretch of this schedule. There's every indication that they could make the playoffs, at least as a wild card team. And that's what they need today is a win, as this they figure is a pivotal part of the season for them. So at the 10-yard line is where the Cardinals are going to have the football. We have an Eagle shaken up on the play, and it's James Betterson. So the Eagles are fast running out of running backs. Earlier, we had Montgomery hurt, and we understand the diagnosis on him was an ankle. They have taped the ankle. It's up to him whether he'll be back in the lineup. This is Betterson, who is another running back. They're already using Bill Campfield, so you know they're getting a little bit short in that department. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Philadelphia Eagles and the National Football League is prohibited. So the Cardinals, Hank, have really hurt themselves, not handling the punts, the kickoffs very well.
And they've hurt themselves in other areas too, Gary. You know, the last time we saw them play was against Cincinnati. They played them a very good game. I think if I remember correctly, it was 10-10 at halftime, but everything that happened to them in that game was self-inflicted. What happened so far in this game, they're down 3-0, which is no real problem at this early stage of the game. But they stopped themselves and kept themselves from getting points on 2 occasions, one with a missed field goal and one with an interception. So really the things they're doing are well, except they're not doing them good enough as far as maintaining a drive and getting points on the scoreboard.
You said something today, those who are coming to the ballpark, that you were very much interested in the attitude of the Cardinals. It's good, and this man, Bud Wilkinson, has kept a very stiff upper lip. He's kept a good attitude.
Yeah, no, that's the real problem from a coaching viewpoint. You know, when you lose 8 games in a row, why, the one thing that you can't let suffer is the attitude. Certainly you're going to be disappointed about what's happened, but you can't be so despondent and so disappointed that you don't play well. This team has really artistically done a lot of good things, but they just stopped themselves with silly mistakes.
So after having problems with the kickoff, the Cardinals have the ball just outside the 10, and Mel Gray is back in, and that's good news for the Cardinals. He was shaken up earlier. Jim Hart giving off to Jim Otis, and Otis, well, he may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. Carl Hairston made sure of that. The Cardinals having a tough time establishing the running game here in the early going.
Yeah, it's going to continue to be tough too. They have to run some kind of misdirection, some kind of an offbeat, change of pace kind of thing to slow down the reaction of the Philadelphia Eagles, because those linebackers pursue like gangbusters. And of course, Bill Berge, as I mentioned, is one of the best in the business, and you have to block him or get him moving one way and run behind him, or else you're not going to make yardage.
On a 2nd and 10, Wayne Morris is going to try it. And Morris is out to the 15, and again, it's Carl Hairston that makes the stop. So they're still going to be 5 yards short of the first down, and it comes to a 3rd down as they bring in a 5th defensive back. John Shira comes in, and Frank LeMaster checks out for the Eagles. This Philadelphia football team, as you look at their record this year, 4-4, they have lost 3 games by a total of 17 points to good teams like L.A., New England, and Washington. They've been in the hunt all season long. 3rd and 5. Up in the air. It's up for grabs. I believe the Cardinals caught the football. We'll have to wait and see. Jim Otis is indicating that St. Louis came down with it. If they did, if it's an eligible receiver, it'll be a first down because the ball is out to the 30-yard line. Have you ever seen a ball go straight up in the air like that?
It's a St. Louis. That's a good break for St. Louis, but it is a first down for the St. Louis Cardinals. Watch it. The timing of this play is excellent. You know, they must have spent a lot of time on it in practice. These things are hard to rehearse, really.
That's Dennis Harrison who batted the ball up.
Yeah, look at this.
Boy, Wayne Morris looked like an outfielder, didn't he, going after the ball?
All he needed was a baseball glove.
Well, anyway, you'll take him any way you can get him when you haven't won a football game. So now at the 30-yard line, it's a first down. And that gets him out of a very precarious field position situation. Dave Steep has now checked in as a wide receiver for the Cardinals. This is Otis again, and Jim Otis has got some running room, and he is almost close to that first down stick. He got about 9, just short of the 40-yard line. Frank LeMaster dropped him, and Jim Otis has made a living at playing against the Philadelphia Eagles. He has always played well against them.
And Deerdorf, that time, number 72, did a good job on Stram, and that play is designed to either go outside or inside. Jim Otis reads that kind of a play as well as anybody in the business. He did the right thing that time, jumped outside, and got 9 yards on the play. Excellent running by Jim Otis.
Jim Otis will keep you posted on him. He has 19 yards. He needs 95 before the day's over to become the all-time rusher.
Good time to go on top. They're going to go on top.
Wide open, Wayne Morris. And Wayne Morris has it inside the 30-yard line. John Sanders made the stop, and Jim Hart is throwing the ball extremely well.
And that's a good time to go on top. Here he is. A play-action pass. That time they faked to the tight end. He didn't get out of the backfield. They're waiting for him to shift, but he didn't. They went on a quick count, faked to him, and hit Morris right down the seam for a nice gain.
Jim Hart now 6 of 8 in this game, already 147 yards. He's piling up some impressive statistics. From the 28, a first down. Otis a little mix-up on the backfield, and that timing cost him. Hart and Otis collided on that exchange, and just that split second can really foul up a running play.
That's all you need. Reggie Wilkes that time, number 51, and we mentioned him previously on several occasions. He's an outstanding linebacker. He's the one who made the play on that last run by Jim Otis, number 35.
Wayne Morris on that last catch now has 49 yards in receiving. Gray 2 for 77, so you can see why Hart is piling up the yardage in a hurry.
Outlaw number 20, the left corner, is playing very soft out there. It looks like you can do a little business in front of him. Let's see what they do here.
Second down, virtually 10 yards to go. Here's Otis. Otis cutting it back, and he's inside the 25. Otis again running and looking for those spots. Carl Hairston, the third-year man from Maryland Eastern Shore, making the stop on Jim. And they're going to mark the ball right on top of the 25-yard line. Third down, still 7 yards to go. And now John Shira checks in. LeMaster out on an apparent passing situation. Boy, I think it shows a lot of courage on Jim Hart's part to come in here today, play with that shoulder, and he looks like a heart of old.
Well, he's that kind of a player and that kind of a performer.
Here we go, 3rd and 7. Pat Tilley, and Tilley's got it, 1st and goal. Pat Tilley caught that ball with people around him, took a pretty good shot, but he hangs on. 1st and goal, St. Louis.
Pat Tilley ran a curl-in pattern. He was double covered on the outside. There you see Logan trying to give him a shot, but he cuts underneath. There's a big hole underneath there, and I tell you, Hart threw the ball just perfectly right at the numbers where you have to throw it, and it's good for a 1st down and a big play. John Shira, number 21, made the tackle.
The Cardinals trailing 3-0, but they have a 1st and goal now at the 8-yard line. Otis. And Otis may have gotten a yard, and that's all. A lot of congestion up the middle that time. And Jim getting a lot of work in this game as they anticipated, and give Hairston credit again for the tackle. He's been in on a bundle of them. So it's going to bring up 2nd down and goal. Now the ball resting at the 7-yard line. You have a man shaken up coming out of there. That's Hairston, who's been making all those tackles, and coming in is Lynn Burnham. Well, they hate to see Hairston out of there. He has really been playing well this year.
Yeah, Burnham, they like it with a forward pass rush. He isn't quite as good against the run as he is with the pass.
2nd and goal from the 7 to delay to Otis. Otis is in. Touchdown. Jim Otis cracks in. And the Cardinals have taken a 6-3 lead at the 8:46 mark. And you knew when Jim smelled that goal line, he wasn't going to be kept out of there.
Yes, anytime he gets a sniff of it. He's such a strong runner, and he knows where to go and how to get there. He does a great job on this play. Draw play right up the middle. The offensive linemen do a great job. Roger Finney, Bob Young, Banks, Wortman, and Deerdorf to open up the running room. Jim Otis does the rest.
That's his 5th touchdown of the year. Point after attempt by Jim Bakken is on the way. And Bakken missed that one. And I'll be honest with you, I can't see from where we are what's wrong with those.
I don't know either. It looked like they take off in good shape. It looks like they're going through, but they don't.
It's a 6-3 game. The Cardinals with the lead at the 8:46 mark. Well, Bud Wilkinson in the position of having his team on top 6-3, as his team just moved the ball 89 yards in 10 plays. Kicking off, Wood. Pedersen over there, and it's going to go out of bounds, and it'll be a 5-yard penalty. You know, going back to Jim Bakken missing the field goal and the point after, those kicks, Hank, are veering right, but as we look at them, they look like they're starting out very true. The ball doesn't look like it has any play to it, left or right.
Yeah, it's really deceptive, and the wind doesn't seem to be that much of a factor from where we are in the press box, Gary. It's hard to understand what's happening. Evidently, he's just kicking the ball badly, and they're going off to the right or to the left.
Well, Mike Wood will kick off again. Now, Wood is a St. Louis native. He played his high school football at Kirkwood High School. He started the year with the Minnesota Vikings, an 8th-round draft pick. Then he had all kinds of problems. He lost his rhythm in punting and had a couple of them blocked. And so then, after the 7th game, the Vikings made a change. He was cut. He was signed this week after Steve Little sustained the knee injury, and Little's going to be out for at least 2 weeks. And so this is Wood going back, as Pedersen and Campfield are the twin safeties now for Philadelphia. 6-3, St. Louis. He hits this one down to the near side. Campfield at the 20. To the 30, and Campfield's out to the 40, to the 42-yard line. Boy, he's putting on quite a show here this afternoon.
Yeah,
and so the Eagles have excellent field position.
Looked like he was going to be trapped back there about 9 yards shorter than where he actually got tackled. Very good running on the part of that fine young back. Campfield, number 37.
How about that? San Francisco leading Cleveland after being upset, leading Buffalo 13-0. Been an interesting year. Cincinnati trying to win their first one. Houston trying to come back from that big win that they had against Pittsburgh. On a first down, give to Cleveland Franklin, and Franklin inside or outside the 45 to the 46-yard line. Oh, it's going to bring up second down and still 7 yards to go as Steve Niels making the stop for the Cardinals. The Cardinals this year have been giving up about 189 yards a game on the ground. 322 yards total, which ranks him 13th overall in defense. 2nd and 7. Jaworski, quick pitch to Camfield. And Camfield to the midfield stripe. He's still going to be 3 yards short of the first down. Tim Carney over there. Carney playing in place now the injured Eric Williams, who has not returned. As we take a look at the defensive core, Marion Campbell, the old Swamp Fox, been a head coach himself in the NFL, talking things over along with Chuck Clausen.
Yeah, and he's one of the very fine defensive people in the business, I assure you that. That time, Krepfle did a very good job on Steve Niels to make that play a success.
3rd down, 3 yards to go from the 50-yard line. Jaworski on the 3rd down. He's got the big guy, Carmichael, and he's got it for a first down. Carl Allen. Here's Allen at 6 foot. Going against Carmichael at 6'8", and Hank, you get the feeling you could throw that pass all day long.
Yeah, you're right, because they have to concern themselves with a deep threat, and they're playing soft. And I think anytime they want to throw that, they can. I'm surprised that they haven't done so far on first down.
An update on Robert Montgomery. He is in the dressing room right now. They're looking him over, an ankle, and they'll make a decision as to whether he'll come back in the second half at halftime. Right now, this Billy Camfield has done quite a job in his absence. First down for the Eagles. And Mike Dawson stepped across. Was he drawn off?
Jaworski.
And he was offside. It's against Dawson.
You know, Jaworski is doing a very good job of changing the tempo of the rhythm and the cadence, and as a result, that's what happened on the play. He thought the ball was going to be snapped, and it wasn't. He just changed the inflection of his voice, and it made Dawson jump, and they pick up an easy 5 yards.
Number 73, defense.
Used to have a guy by the name of Lenny Dawson who could do that very well.
Yes, he did it, and of course, Bob Greasy also is one of the very good ones in the business as far as making people jump off sides.
So it'll be 1st and 5 after the 5-yard penalty. Payne, Carmichael, the wide receivers. This is Cleveland Franklin, and Franklin trying to get the first down, and he's very close to it. Close to the 32-yard line. Bob Pollard, Mike Dawson combining on the stop, and they're going to have to measure to see if he got it. Bob Pollard, who last year played for the Saints, the leading tackler on this team. He came in here with 75 tackles. He's also blocked a field goal, had 1.5 sacks. Doing a good job for the Cards.
Yes, he is, and that was a trap that time. The left guard, number 72, Wade Key, was trying to trap Bob Pollard on the play, and they got a good movement off the line of scrimmage.
Here's the measurement, and I don't believe they got it. They did not. So they're about a half yard short of that first down as we come to a 3rd down. This might be a play that Dick Vermeil might play around with a little bit, Hank.
I doubt it. I think he'll probably, with that short a distance for the first down, I think probably he figures in this area he's got 2 downs to get the first down. He'll get the first down and then try to do business if he gets a 1st and 10 situation.
All right, let's see what happens as Payne comes to the bottom of the screen. There's the stats on Jaworski. Jaworski hitting 55% of his passes coming into this game. There's Jaworski back. He's got Carmichael. Touchdown.
Good call. Good call. Beautiful play. Beautiful play.
Harold Carmichael at 6'8", latching on to that one. That's his 4th touchdown catch of the year.
Play action pass. Good fake on the part of Camfield. He throws right back into the post to Carmichael, right over the top. He beats Roger Worley on the play. Touchdown, Philadelphia Eagles. A beautiful play. I really thought that they would try to get 2 shots, but it was a great call, which is very obvious.
I think they won't give that one back. Neckemeyer now with a point after attempt. His kick is on the way, and he's got it. And so, the Philadelphia Eagles jump back on top of this game. They lead it 10-6 with 5:49 to go to halftime.
I mean, they just open up a key and I hear 3 people automatically.
Nickemeyer ready to kick off now from the 35-yard line. The Eagles with a 10-6 lead. Lee Nelson back there, and he's going to bring it out. Check that. That's Will Harrell, and Harrell comes out across the 20 to the 22-yard line. Harrell rammed out at the 22, and the Cardinals will set it up there. Orrin Middlebrook making the stop for the Eagles. That last catch by Carmichael was his 8th career touchdown catch against. That was a 7th-round draft pick out of Southern back in 1971. Hart on first down. Now a little Statue of Liberty to Mel Gray. But nobody's fooled this time. The old Statue of Liberty play.
Well, they fake the play action pass inside, which they've done several times and very successfully that time. And the ironic thing about it was that Tilly was open. They faked the play and then handed on the Statue of Liberty coming around to Mel Gray, but they read it just perfectly and lose some yardage on the play.
They lose a pair. It'll be 2nd down 12. You can see Mel just had no place to go, and the Eagles like to go after him in that situation. They get a chance to tackle him like that. They'll take that opportunity. On a 2nd down, there's a give to Wayne Morris. Morris getting out of some trouble, and he saves some yardage. Doesn't gain an awful lot on it, but he got out of a long loss that time. Frank LeMaster eventually caught up with him.
LeMaster and Berge that time were blitzing on the play, and as a result, that's why there was no place to go inside. They were in those inside gaps. He had to go outside. Did a very good job of running, too, to get where he did on the play.
Shira checks in, so they'll have 5 defensive backs. LeMaster comes out. 3rd down, still virtually 10 yards. Let's make it 11 yards to go. Gray comes to the bottom of the screen. Tilly to the top. Hart back to throw. That was almost picked off. Al Chandler, the intended receiver. John Sanders came closest to it. Hart wanted to throw to Gray, I believe, Hank, and he didn't clear, so then he threw shorter and had too much on the ball.
Yes, that's right.
So that'll bring up a 4th down. Hart thus far 7 of 10 in the game, 164 yards and 1 interception. Back to kick. Mike Wood as you're looking at John Shira of the Eagles. Shira coming in here is 16th in the NFC in punt returns. Here's Wood, his first punt for the Cardinals. He gets it high. Shira at the 46-yard line. Good coverage that time. Excellent coverage by Greg Westbrooks, who came up there first. And so the forward progress will be marked at the 49-yard line of Philadelphia. They have 10-6 their lead as we have a timeout. Mike Wood had a punt of only 31 yards, and the Eagles now have the ball at their own 49-yard line. Carmichael and Payne, the wide receivers. Campfield and Franklin, the running backs, behind Jaworski. Jaworski gives off to Cleveland Franklin. And he's into the Cardinal end of the field to the 46. Tim Carney, who continues to play inside, replacing Eric Williams, who's shaken up on the first series of this game. So it's going to bring up a 2nd down, and still 6 yards to go. Jaworski in this game now has hit 8 of 10 for 92 yards. 1 touchdown at the 33-yarder to Carmichael, and 1 interception where Carl Allen picked it off in the first series of this game. On a 2nd and 6, here's Campfield, and he's not going anywhere. Good reaction by John Zook. Zook dropped him at the 45. Boy, Campfield got off the mark in a hurry that time, though. He flies up there.
Yes, he did. And Steve Neal's number 53 was also involved in that play, along with 73. Mike Dawson, but they did a good job of stopping that play right up the middle.
The veteran John Zook in his 10th year out of Kansas. He has 2 sacks coming into this game.
And look at this score. New England 34, the Jets 7.
That's in the second quarter.
Yep.
New England really playing some good football. Third down now, 4 yards to go. Jaworski on the rollout. Complete to Camfield, and he's got it for the first down inside the 40-yard line. That's a play that looks so easy when it works.
Yeah, that's the first time I've seen Jaworski do that, but they had a slot left. Carmichael and Payne on the left side. He rolled out to the tight end side with Kreftley going deep, and Camfield in the flat. He was wide open, 1st and 10. Nice looking play by the Philadelphia Eagles, and a good throw by Jaworski.
That's the thing Jaworski's been able to do, Hank, is he can throw the short stuff. He's always had the great arm, but he's got some touch on the ball.
Well, he's not forcing things. Last year at this time he had thrown 16 interceptions. So far he's thrown 4.
So from the 39, a first down. Look at this. Having trouble is Camfield. He won't go down, but he will eventually, and that almost was a disaster for Philadelphia. Just wasn't executed well at all. Carney and Allen over there eventually dropping Camfield, and Camfield getting up rather slowly.
Yes, that was a bad-looking play. They faked inside and then tried to toss. It was kind of a foreign-looking option play of some kind.
They brought that from overseas, huh?
I think maybe Jaworski might have brought it from Warsaw, but it wasn't executed very well.
Cleveland leading Buffalo 13-7. Second down now. Loss of 5 on that last play. 2nd and 15. Here's a little delay around to Cleveland Franklin, and Franklin inside the 40 to the 37-yard line, but they're still a long ways from a first down as it's third down coming up. Mark Arneson making the stop on the former Baylor standout Cleveland Franklin. We have another man shaken up. We've had a lot of injuries in this game. One of the Eagles down. Earlier, Wilbert Montgomery was shaken up. We'll still wait to see on his status whether he'll be able to return in the second half of play. Hey, Hank, tonight on CBS, got a super lineup starting with 60 Minutes. Then it's All in the Family at its new time, 8, 7 Central and Mountain, followed by more comedy on Alice. And then Kaz, now seen an hour earlier, is assigned to defend a baseball player charged with assault. Then Lucy runs away from home and winds up as a hostage as Dallas moves to its new night. Tonight, right here on CBS. So the delay in the action while the Eagles take care of one of their injured. And that injured player is Ed George, one of the offensive tackles for Philadelphia. Injuries this year, it seems like every place we go, there's been a lot of them. And this game certainly no exception. There's Coach Wilkinson. Bud has been on the other end of streaks. He, at one time at Oklahoma, won 47 games in a row. Right now, he'd like to just win one. Get that first one under your belt. Sometimes that's the toughest.
You know, and really, as I mentioned earlier, his team is still playing well. They're doing a lot of good things. They're moving up and down the field. They made some mistakes, but they're still very much in this game. This is very important for them here to stop this drive. And perhaps going at halftime no worse than 10-6.
That was not Ed George, as we were told. It's Keith Kreftley. And they can ill afford to lose him. Well, what a job he has done. Since he took over last year for Charles Young at tight end, he's made him forget about Charles Young.
He's a very determined player and a good blocker and catches the ball extremely well in traffic.
Third down, 7. They're approaching a 2-minute warning here in this first half of play. Jaworski back. And it's picked up. Intercepted. Picking it off is Ken Stone, and Stone is all the way down to the 45-yard line. You know, a whistle was blown on that play about the time the ball was intercepted over there.
It's hard to tell what happened on the play, but there was confusion and deep concern on the part of the coaches of the St. Louis team. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
So on the far side, the interception by Stone. And now the discussion going on. Good pressure was put on that time on Jaworski on that third down.
Yes, here it is. I think St. Louis has possession, 1st and 10.
But they blew the whistle, and let's look at it again.
Jaworski is trying to hit his tight end, Osborne, 86, but he threw it just a little bit too high. And Ken Stone, number 23, comes up with the interception. But why they put it down back there, I don't know.
At the 30-yard line is where the Cardinals will get it. Jim Otis is going to try to move it further, and he gets about 3 yards, and he's shoved back. Well, evidently, they thought he went out of bounds, or he was down, or on the far side. We'll try to get a ruling on that. But right now, the 2-minute warning is here. The score, Philadelphia 10, St. Louis 6. With Hank Stram, I'm Gary Bender. And Hank, we got a ruling on that mix-up a while ago. It was an inadvertent whistle. They did not mean to blow the whistle. But when Stone intercepted the pass, a whistle was blown. Some people stopped, some started, so they brought the ball back to where he intercepted it.
That's really a bad play.
Should have the ball, if you were a Cardinal, at the 45-yard line. Instead now, they have 2nd down and 6, operating from their own 34. Hart back, broken up. Good pressure put on, and I think it's that big 6'8" rookie again, Dennis Harrison. Also Bill Berge putting some pressure on. So it'll move to a 3rd down. So what happened was Stone intercepted the pass, so whistle blew for some reason. So they had to stop the play rather than let Stone's progress be all the way to the 45-yard line of Philadelphia.
I saw Bud hassling over there on the sideline with the official, and justifiably so. He had reason to get hot on that play.
There's your time remaining, 1:51. There's a blitz by Berge. Oh, what a shot by Herman Edwards going after Wayne Morris.
Flag on the other side of the field. I don't know what it is, but there is a flag.
Herman Edwards just about took Wayne Morris apart on that play. But as you mentioned, there is a flag, and it's going to be holding against Philadelphia. So that'll be a 1st down for the Cardinals, and keeps their drive going with 1:45 left before halftime. At halftime, we'll join the NFL Today, Brent, Jane, and Irv, as they'll update us on what's happening throughout the NFL. Let's listen.
Holding defense, number 41. 1st down.
That's Randy Logan, the strong safety. And so the 1st down to the 39-yard line. The Cardinals trailing 10-6 in this game. They scored a touchdown, missed the point after. A field goal by Philadelphia, and then a 33-yard touchdown pass from Jaworski to Carmichael. Hart on the 1st down. He's got protection. And it's complete to the 45-yard line. And it's Al Chandler, the big tight end. So they're going to pick up 6 yards on the play. Bring up a 2nd down, and time now, 1:27 and moving. And they're wasting no time. They have not huddled. Hart back again. It's caught. Dave Steep, the rookie from Portland State. He's going to take it in. And Dave Steep, what a catch for this young rookie. That is his 1st catch of the year.
You know, and the odd thing about that play was that they double covered Steve on that play, number 84. The defensive back gambled with the interception. It looked like. Let's take a look at it. He's throwing right between the short man and the deep man. Watch. He was looking at the quarterback's eyes, evidently the defensive back was, and didn't get over as far as he should have because it was double covered. The ball was thrown perfectly. Steve makes a nice move back into the inside, and his touchdown.
55-yarder as Dave Steep, his 1st catch in the National Football League, and it nets 6 points. And all of a sudden now, the point after makes it a 13-10 game with 1:11 left to go before halftime. Wood kicks off. The Cardinals with a 13-10 lead. James Betterson brings it out now for the Eagles. He stopped at the 25-yard line. That'll be Curtis Townsend credited with the tackle for the Cardinals. You know, Steve with his 1st catch, a 55-yarder earlier this year, Hank, threw a 43-yard touchdown pass.
Well, it's a great way to break into professional football. The catch that he made a little while ago Dave Stieff, 84.
Well, that's Will Harrell who's down now for the Cardinals. We've had a lot of injuries in this first half of play, haven't we?
We surely have. And, back to the touchdown play, the unusual thing, as I mentioned a few moments ago, was the fact that it was double coverage. And you would think with double coverage they would have had it faded in good shape, but they didn't.
We have another guy shaking up. You can see in the lower portion of your screen, James Pedersen, who carried the ball, is coming off. And I'll tell you, they don't have very many running backs left. They've already got Montgomery hurt. Pedersen is hurt. Hogan did not want to play today because of an injury, so that would leave them Franklin and Camfield, the only two running backs. Pedersen, boom, boom, Pedersen, they call him. Second year out of North Carolina. He returned a kickoff against the Washington Redskins this year for 44 yards. But he's having some problems right now. Will Harrell now going off, a little bit groggy. Still 1:05 left. Jim Hart in this game, 9 of 13 on that last drive, of course, throwing the 55-yard touchdown pass. He already, Hank, has 225 yards in passing. For a guy that nobody figured would play today, he's doing all right.
And yesterday people talked about the fact that he might play. Today, he naturally is playing. It's just amazing how well he's doing.
So Ron Jaworski with 1:05 left from the 25-yard line. What an entertaining first half we have. Jaworski back. This is Cleveland Franklin. And Franklin has the first down. He's across the 35 and did some very fine running with that football before Ken Green, the rookie from Washington State, dropped him. So first down just outside the 35-yard line. And so a timeout has been called by Philadelphia. And Ron Jaworski comes over to visit with Dick Vermeil.
Tim Kearney, that time, number 56, came across there quickly, forced the thing inside where they could get some help, but not until after he made the necessary yardage for the first down.
Ron Jaworski, the guy that Dick Vermeil wanted. He knew him when he was with Los Angeles. They brought him in here in a trade for Charles Young, and they look like they have a quarterback for many, many years to come. Looking ahead to next week. Hank, I'll tell you right here is going to be a good one next week. Green Bay, Philadelphia. New Orleans going against Pittsburgh. The Steelers losing their first game. The Giants against St. Louis, another one of those NFC Eastern Division battles. What a division fight they're having. San Francisco surprising today against Atlanta, and Detroit against Minnesota in that black and blue division of the NFC Central. And finally Dallas and Miami. That ought to be an outstanding game. Tampa Bay, Los Angeles. Be sure and consult your local listings, and you'll find out the game in your area next Sunday, the NFL on CBS. 55 seconds left in this first half. Jaworski, all the time in the world to throw. Nobody to throw to. Carmichael covered by Perry Smith. They had the prevent defense on that time, dropping back, going to give him the short stuff, and he had all day to throw the ball.
You know, the defensive backs were back so deep that time Kenny Payne went right down the middle, number 82, and there were some areas there where he could have thrown the ball to him, and he was wide open, but he chose to throw outside and stop the clock.
There's the stats on Jaworski. Jaworski has thrown for over 1,200 yards coming into today. Suffered his 5th interception today, which is low in the NFC. He's really taken over at quarterback for Dick Vermeil. 2nd and 10.
The middle is open again, or they throw out in the flat this time.
That's Richard Osborne, the backup tight end, who's playing in place of Krepley right now, and he gets it out to the 41-yard line. Mark Arneson eventually made the tackle. And now Philadelphia is going to use another one of their timeouts with 38 seconds left before halftime. Again, we'll go back to New York and the NFL today to update you on what's happening. And the way it's going again today, we're going to have many, many surprises. Last Sunday, I thought was a heyday in that department, but it may be following that form again.
It happens every week, and as we talked many times during the course of this season, the upsets are really the rule rather than the exception to the rule in 1978. You know, that time Kenny Payne, again, was wide open, going right through the middle because they're so deep. let's see what happens and whether he tries to hit him on this situation.
So Jaworski has completed his meeting with Dick Vermeil. Doug Green now has come in the secondary. 5 defensive backs for the Cardinals. They go to their prevent defense. The first half, we've had a little of everything in it. The turnovers, the big plays. Had a lot of new wrinkles offensively by both teams. Haven't seen the Statue of Liberty in a long time. 3rd down and 6 yards to go.
Oh, they got a blitz this time.
And here comes a blitz. Pass intended for Camfield. Tim Carney was blitzing on the play. Hurried that one up. Now, Hank, that's interesting. When you're in a prevent and you blitz a guy, what are you doing to your defense then?
Well, what happens is, you create the impression as the quarterback looks at the prevent defense, he thinks, well, I'm going to have a 3-man rush or a 4-man rush, and I've got plenty of time to throw the football. And he determines in his own mind what he wants to do, and then suddenly when the ball is snapped, he's not prepared. He doesn't think they're going to blitz from the prevent defense, and all of a sudden, why it creates a problem, he's not ready to throw the ball, and he threw it just like he did that last time. Very good play on the part of the St. Louis defense.
Mike Michelle is back to kick, and to field it will be Willard Harrell. Michelle gets a fine kick underway. Harrell looking up into the sun at the 18-yard line, and Harrell brings it to the 25-yard line. So you see the time remaining, 21 seconds. The Cardinals with the lead will be content just to take that into the halftime with them. On the CBS Sports Spectacular next Saturday, mark this time down, 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central Pacific, boxing. We'll have Howard Davis, the sensation in the last Olympics, going against Louis Davila from Puerto Rico. And then the world's strongest men, 10 men competing in the wheelbarrow race, 750 pounds. They got to push it 100 feet. Next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular. From the 25-yard line, Hart will just be content to let this time grind out as he gives it off to Jim Otis. The Eagles have 1 timeout remaining. I don't think they're going to use it. And that's the way this first half is going to come to a close. The big plays, a 55-yard pass from Hart to Steve, a 33-yarder from Jaworski to Carmichael. And there is Bud Wilkinson now, who is a half away from possibly picking up his first win in the National Football League. His team with a 13-10 lead. And that's got to give that team a lot of encouragement, because early it wasn't going well for them, but they've come roaring right back.
The nice thing about it is, too, is the fact that even though they had some adverse things happen to them in the first half, they didn't lose their poise. They kept on playing as hard as they possibly could. The defense continued to do a good job. Now that they have some points on the scoreboard and a 13-10 lead, I think we're going to see them play even better in this second half.
Well, Bakken missed the field goal early. They scored. They missed the point after, but they haven't let that bother them. They've had the penalties. They've had some injuries that early looked like it might shake them up. But that's not what's going to be the case in this first half. So the Cardinals, who historically played very well against Philadelphia, trying to win their 9th in a row. And Hank, it's always interesting to me how certain teams, the matchups, you just have more success against them.
Yeah, it's unusual. Just like baseball, certain hitters can hit extremely well in certain parks. They feel they can hit home runs and hit the ball very well. This is the same thing with the competitive situation in the National Football League. And there's some teams you feel you're going to play extremely well against, and as soon as the ball is pumped up and you go out, come off the bus and get on the field, while you feel you're going to win.
So that's how it stands right now, 13-10 at halftime. We'll be joining the folks in New York for the NFL today as Brent, Jane, and Irv will give us some background information on some games that right now appear to be in the form of upsets. And also, we'll be back to bring you the second half of play here from the vet, as the Eagles, who need this win, they feel that they can win today, and then in the home stretch, the back half of this schedule could go 6-2, could end up as a wild card team in the 1978 playoffs. The Eagles have not won here against the Cardinals since 1971. They've had only 1 winning season since 1961, and a victory today would match their victory output of last year. Halftime, it's the Cards 13, the Eagles 10. There's your score, 13-10 at halftime. The Cardinals leading the Eagles. And Hank Stram, I guess one thing you could say about the Cardinals, they're not playing like an 0-8 football team.
Well, they're not playing like an 08 team because they don't feel they are an 08 team, and that's the important thing, I think, about this St. Louis Cardinal team at this stage of the season. I think Bud Wilkinson has done an excellent job of selling his team on the fact that they can win, that they will win. They lost a lot of close games in the early stage of the season. They're 0-8, but there's no way in the world you can convince that team that they're an 0-8 team.
I think something we should just kind of mark for future reference is the fact that the Eagles have outscored teams in the fourth quarter coming into today 69-20. So when they get to the fourth quarter, you better have a little lead on them.
Well, they feel very strongly about that philosophy. Dick Vermeil has done an excellent job of selling his team on the importance of winning in the fourth quarter, and it's very obvious that they believe in that philosophy because, as you mentioned, they've done that many, many times in the first half of the season. And I think that they feel very strongly about the fact that they're well-conditioned, well-disciplined, and they feel they're going to make something happen in the fourth quarter.
All right, 13-10. Let's go to the NFL today in New York.
All right, Gary Bender, thank you very much. I'm Brent Musburger, back live in New York. Just moments ago, down in the Superdome in New Orleans, Tom Blanchard of the Saints was back to punt against the New York Giants. Both of these teams have visions of playoffs dancing through their heads, and the Giants put all kinds of heat on. Here came Ernie Jones, deflected it to the end zone, and now watch the bouncing football as the Giants try to get it before it gets out of there for a touchback. And Tyler's got 6. And now you can see a rundown, Jane Kennedy, on the scores.
At the half, St. Louis is leading Philadelphia 13-10. And Washington has a lead over San Francisco 14-10 in the second quarter. Cleveland Browns leading the Buffalo Bills 20-7, and that game is also at the half. Cincinnati, scoring their first touchdown in 14 quarters, take the lead over Houston 7-0, and that game is at the half. Pittsburgh dominating Kansas City 20-3 in the third quarter. And the New England Jets, everybody.
Wait a minute. Is that right? 41.
The New England Patriots are defeating the Jets 41-7, and that game is at the half. Steve Grogan has 4 touchdown passes, 277 yards, and 15 completions for 19. Detroit in the NFC Central battle takes the lead over Chicago 14-3.
Jane, let me interrupt you, and let's go live right now to RFK Stadium. You are watching the San Francisco 49ers. Ray Wershing is number 14. They are getting ready to attempt a field goal. What has happened in this ball game so far to date is that Billy Kilmer was reinserted as the starting quarterback, but it was the 49ers in white on the right who struck first. They led 10-0. Kenny Houston then came up with a huge interception for the Redskins. They struck for 2 touchdowns, and now they lead it by a score of 14-10. But Ray Wershing is going to attempt the field goal. The Giants, New Orleans, you watched that score. That was the blocked punt and Tyler recovering it for the score. Green Bay is ahead of Tampa Bay. I don't know if that's a couple of field goals or a touchdown. That's 6-0 in the first. Now we're going to take you back again. You are watching live. And this is in Washington and San Francisco. About 4 seconds left in the first half. Wershing number 14. And just as Irv Cross predicted, the 49ers came on strong as this game began. Scott Bull is the holder. He is the backup quarterback behind DeBerg, and here it comes. Redskins try to distract him. The snap was bobbled and then put down, and it's good. So it is going to be 14-13 in that game at the half. As you can watch again, a side view of Wershing, the 49ers. Look at how Scott Bull fumbled the ball. Then Irv Cross was able to get it up. The laces were facing the kicker. Now, ordinarily, every kicker in the NFL prefers that the laces face the goalposts. He does not want them directly ahead of him. The ball tends to sail a little bit better. So that was the up-to-the-minute information on that game. And now, Irv Cross, what about the penalty situation? The Rams screaming bloody murder this year.
I have a graphic I want you to take a look at, Brent, because there's been an awful lot of discussion around the league around here. The Rams lead the league as the most penalized team with 657 yards, even though they're above 500. No one else in this category is. By the way, they've gained 2,636 yards in total offense, so you can see that's almost a 25% of the total offensive production in penalties. It's a big problem.
And there are the 5 least penalized teams.
Least penalized teams. Miami's done a pretty good job. You know, I wonder, Brent, if whether or not the Miami Dolphins are the least penalized team in the league because Don Shula's on the rules committee and put these new rules in. But one of the big problems seems to be there's inconsistency in calls. You know, one day you have pass interference, the next day you don't from a different official's crew, and something has to be done to get those calls called in such a way that everybody can determine what's going to happen from day to day.
All right, Irv, and the NFL Today will continue on CBS after these messages from your local stations.
(13-10) our halftime score. The Cardinals leading the Eagles, and Hank Stram has a special guest.
Very happy at halftime to have with us the popular owner of the Philadelphia Eagles, Leonard Tost. Leonard, I know you feel good about the progress and development of your football team so far. I know you have to be a little bit apprehensive with the score now, 13-10 in favor of St. Louis. But overall, what is your feeling of this club?
Well, I think Dick Vermeil's done a great job. I hope we can come back in the second half. I'm really concerned about the injuries on both sides of this game. Looks like the hitting's pretty hard, Hank.
Yeah, it really is hard hitting, Leonard. And, you know, one of the other things I'd like to ask you about with regard to the injury factor, with regard to some of the rule changes that have occurred in 1978. Do you have any feeling about what's happened so far with regard to the changes?
Well, I think I'm pretty much in agreement with the changes that have been made so far. But people keep going down, and we get too many injuries. I guess we're going to have to take another look at it.
Thank you very much, Leonard Tost, the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles. And now we go back to Gary Bender.
Okay, Hank, thank you very much. We're just about ready now to start the second half of play. The Cardinals trying to win their first game of the year. They lead at halftime, 13-10. We'll be back in a moment. The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. Well, it's been a most unusual first half of play. And look at the stats in this game. I tell you, they're very equal, other than the fact that, well, I guess they're not either, because the Cardinals, as far as passing is concerned, dominating pretty much in this game. The big play, of course, that 55-yarder to Dave Stieff. As far as this game is concerned, anything can happen. You just said a while ago, Hank, you've never seen a game that had just virtually everything develop in the first 30 minutes.
Well, the one thing about both teams are doing a good job of moving the football, and I think any time that you have that kind of a game, sparks really fly, anything can happen, a lot of fireworks, and I think we can anticipate the same kind of a second half.
Look at this, would you? They lined up at the wrong end.
They're in the right stadium, but the wrong end.
Well, earlier we had a whistle that was blown when it wasn't supposed to be. So I guess everybody has those days. So Mickemeyer, as you see it, will be kicking from left to right. There he is. That first half of play, he kicked a 25-yard field goal. And so we're ready to go. Going back deep will be Will Harrell. And also going back there with him is Lee Nelson. Number 39 and number 38. Eagles, if they win today, 5 victories would surpass what they had. And here is the kick short. Harrell at the 10. He's out to the 20, 25, and to the 27-yard line. And you can see there's some unpleasant discussions going on down there. These two teams, there's no lost love between them. That's Doug Green, number 40. The rookie out of Texas A&I, not too happy. And so they're going to mark the ball just short of the 30-yard line at the 29, and the Cardinals will have it there. Look at Hart, would you? 9 of 13, 225 yards.
And you have to understand that he hasn't thrown a ball in 2 weeks prior to the time he threw one on Friday. A remarkable performance so far, Jim Hart.
13-10, the Cardinals are the lead. In motion, the guy caught a 55-yard touchdown pass. Steve, Pat Tilley, and that's a first down. They threw that in the first half very successfully to Tilley. They go right back to it. Edwards made the stop.
Well, what they do, they fake inside the Jim Otis, and it's kind of a counter play because it holds the linebackers and makes them suck up to the fake. They throw right over the top of the linebacker. That time they threw on the inside of 46, Herman Edwards, and again, it was a first down catch. Good play on 1st and 10.
From the 41, a first down. Tight end is Chandler, number 87. Give to Wayne Morris, and Morris flag on the play to the 46-yard line. Morris picking up about 6 on the play, but the flag thrown is going to be holding against St. Louis. You can almost bet that's what it is every time that flag is thrown around the dog pile or the people that line of scrimmage. So they'll be stepping off 10 yards. Cardinals were plagued by the penalties early in the ball game. Chuck Heberlin will explain it.
Holding offense number 54. First down.
That is the center, Tom Banks, guilty of holding. So just short of the 32-yard line now. The Cardinals will have a 1st and 15.
Unusual that you'd have a holding penalty on a play-action pass like that one.
Here's Hart. Dave Steve broken up, intercepted, picked off by Frank LeMaster. The second interception by an Eagle linebacker. Berge earlier. Here's LeMaster coming up with it.
You know, that time it was a flood pattern to the left side. The linebacker got good depth. Jim Otis, number 35, was really wide open on the play. That's why the linebacker got such good depth. Otis was wide open, but he threw the ball into the traffic. Interception.
So the Eagles have the football to 41. Jim Hart was kind of shaken up on that last play, and you see Steve Pizarkowicz warming up on the far side.
Good time for a play-action pass after this interception. Let's see what he does.
Jaworski giving off to Campfield. Mike Dawson there as he comes inside the 40-yard line. May have made to the 39, a gain of 2. Be 2nd down and 8. Can't get over how fast that Campfield gets off the mark. He really takes off.
Yes, he blows in there very quickly. That time, Guy Morris on his block with Dawson. They didn't succeed in doing that well, and as a result, didn't make a big gain on the play. It winds up now 2nd and 8 after a 2-yard gain.
Orrin Middlebrook checks in. Keith Krefley checks out. They took a look at Krefley's ribs at halftime. They x-rayed him. Evidently, the x-rays were negative. He's back in. Montgomery with the ankle. We don't know if we'll see him or not. On a 2nd down, give to Cleveland Franklin, and he goes nowhere. He fumbles the ball, but I believe the ball may, let's see, was it blown dead or not? Wade Key fell on it. I believe it was a loose football, and Key saved it at the 44-yard line.
And Mike Dawson, number 73, made a good play. The exchange in the backfield was very sloppy. There wasn't a good mesh between the ball carrier and the quarterback, and as a result, he didn't get a good forward thrust, and it was a very unsuccessful play.
They bring in Doug Green in the secondary. Take out a couple of linebackers on an apparent passing situation, 3rd and 13.
See if they try to go to Iceburn, who was in for Krefley on the play.
Billy Campfield gets into the wing position. On a 3rd down, Jaworski and Kenny Payne's got it. Kenny Payne with a catch. Now Bud Wilkinson feels he's out of bounds, and he's over there. Look at Bud. He feels he didn't have both feet, and he did not. They're going to rule it incomplete. So that is one discussion that a coach wins.
Yes, that's right. And sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to be on top of the play. You have to fight for your people, fight for your players. Let's take a look at it from this view. That time they were all over Osborne, the tight end. They double covered him. Here you see Dawson coming through. He throws the ball nicely on target. There's a lot of room, but it's thrown a little bit too high. And he does not come in with both feet in bounds.
No, he does not. That replay shows it.
And it wasn't even close.
So it brings up a 4th down. Michelle will be kicking for the 41. He's going to go for the corner. Hustling over is Harrell, but he did not kick that ball where he wanted to. He's coming out close to the 20-yard line. Let's see. Still walking out. They're going to mark it outside the 20.
See, that's what happens when you try to kick to the right. When you're a right-footed kicker, he should have tried to kick that to the left, because that way, if it had slipped off, it would have gone right down the middle. It would have been a good kick.
Michelle only had 22 yards on that kick as he was trying to angle it out of bounds, and the Cardinals get the ball at the 22-yard line. Jim Hart is in at quarterback, so he's all right. There's Charlie Johnson jumping offside. Jim Otis wrestled down by Hairston, but Johnson firing off. Let's see if he was drawn off. The nose tackle, and it's offside against Johnson. So it'll be 1st and 5 now for the Cardinals from the 27-yard line. Boy, it's interesting how those replays really show, don't they? Those sideline plays.
Yeah, you complain about. Let's listen.
Defense, number 65. First down.
You complain a lot about the officials, and I did it a lot as a coach, but invariably, 9 out of 10 times they call the right play.
Just like that shows it.
Yep, very obvious.
Okay, now from the 27, 1st and 5. In motion, that's Al Chandler. Quick pitch to Jim Otis. And Otis is close to the 30-yard line. He's still going to be over 2 yards short of the first down. Reggie Wilkes over to make the tackle. Well, that Wilkes, you're going to hear a lot from him in the years to come. 6'4", 230-pound rookie.
You know, the St. Louis team is shifting their. Look at this score. Cincinnati 14-0 over Houston.
That's what happens sometimes. You try to come back for those Monday night games.
Well, you win a big game against a natural rival, and all of a sudden you come back thinking you're going to throw the hat over your head and win the football game. It's more to it than that.
Otis now with 39 yards rushing for the day. And trying to get the first down. Not a lot of running room on that one. And I don't believe he got it. It's going to be a little bit short.
Yeah, I don't think he did. And, you know, it's very obvious in the second half, the St. Louis team has changed their running philosophy a little bit. They're not running leads as much as they are straight ahead stuff and quick things to the outside because this team pursues and reacts so well. They want to hit him as quickly as they possibly can to try to make some yardage.
Let's take an isolation look now at number 66, Bill Berge.
Roger Finney, number 60, is blocking him. He gets him at the numbers like you like, knocks him back.
It's Bob Young.
Uh-oh. Yeah, it was Bob Young, number 64, instead of Roger Finney.
Young, by the way, competed in that World's Strongest Men a year ago, and he wants to do it when we run it a year from now. Of course, that wheelbarrow race coming up next Saturday. So they're just short. It's Wayne Morris just short of the first down. Third down in a matter of inches, and they go to the big fullback Otis, and he got it. Otis picking up the first down. Well, the Cardinals keep it alive.
I tell you, there's nobody in the game that you'd rather have run the football on a half a yard or a yard than Jim Otis, because he's somehow, some way, he's going to get that head and shoulder pads in the crack and make the yardage for you.
You saw Deerdorf at the bottom of that, and you ran right behind him. That's not too bad a guy to run behind either.
Good reason to run to the right. Number 72, Dan Deerdorf.
Well, the Cardinals have had that offensive line chopped up all year. They're healthy today. Dave Steep now into the wide receiver. In motion Chandler, and up the middle, and to about the 38-yard line. That's about all. See, that was Morris again.
They continue to run straight at the defense with straight ahead handoffs. They ran the one quick toss also to get outside quickly, but they evidently feel they can't do it with lead plays because they have too much time to react before the ball carrier gets to the hole if they run any kind of a slow hitting play from the backfield.
Well, the Cardinals had a tough time getting outside this year. We've now gone inside 10 minutes to go in this third quarter. Hart on the second down. Chandler, the intended receiver at the 40-yard line. That'll bring up a third down at 7.
You know, the other thing, the St. Louis team is shifting their tight end from the backfield, making them determine a strong and a weak safety and a strong and a weak linebacker. They're waiting for that switch to be made. In the meantime, St. Louis could go from a quick count with a tight end in the backfield and throw the ball and be very effective. Let's see if they do that somewhere in this third quarter.
Shira comes in, 5 defensive backs for Philadelphia on a 3rd and 7.
Let's see if they try to hit their tight end.
Hart's got time to throw. And looked like Chandler, the intended receiver, but wasn't very close.
Now, he was open, too. Jim just threw the ball poorly over the top, but Chandler, number 87, the tight end, was wide open on the play.
So the Cardinals will have to kick the football. Mike Wood will be called upon. Shira will go back for Philadelphia. There he is, Shira. Boy, what a versatile performer he's been, and there is Wood. 31-yard kick his first time, and he did not get the ball up very well. I think he had, what, 3.2 in hang time?
Yes, that's right. We'll see what happens here.
Oh, he got this one, Hank. Beautiful kick. Shira at the 19-yard line. And he stays on his feet, and he's to the 24.
4-1 that time, much better.
Coming up was Lee Nelson. Nelson's been having a lot of trouble with the knee. They have to drain the fluid on his knee. It slowed his progress this year after off-season knee surgery. There's timeout. The Cardinals with a 3-point lead. The Liberty Bells, the cheerleaders for the Philadelphia Eagles at the 9:25 mark of the third quarter. That was a kick of 45 yards by Mike Wood. Jaworski on first down, and Kenneth for Campfield, almost intercepted. Looked like Kent Green had it for a moment, and then two of his teammates are in that near vicinity. Mark Arneson, one of them, and it's an incomplete forward pass. And you can see Jaworski's probably glad he got away with that one.
Oh, he missed stepping on a mine that time. And it looked like from up here he caught the ball before it hit the ground. I'd like to see an instant replay of that, but evidently it did touch the turf.
Here's the score in the third quarter. New England leading the Jets 41-7. Pittsburgh leads Kansas City third quarter 20-17. Cincinnati still leads Houston 14-0 in the third quarter. There's Jaworski's stats. He has thrown 2 interceptions this game. Play action.
Crefley is wide open. Ooh!
But he does not go to Crefley. He goes to Ken Payne instead, and Ken Stone has quite a collision with it. That'll be a first down.
You know, we mentioned before the half that Ken Payne was this is a fake draw play, and it's the same pattern. He's open right down the seam, and so does the tight end. Crefley is also open 84, and I thought that's who he's going to throw the ball to when I first got a glimpse of Crefley open in that spot.
So at the 44-yard line, a first down. Jaworski throwing the ball on the button that time. Quick pitch to Campfield. And Campfield's forward progress to the 49. Mike Dawson reading the play, making the stop. Campfield seeing all the action. We haven't seen Wobert Montgomery since the very start of this game when he sustained an ankle injury. And they said at halftime they'd make a decision on him. He is standing on the near sideline. I don't know whether he'll come in if they need him or not.
I'm sure they feel if there's any doubt about it, they'll keep him out of the game today to make sure he's well and ready for the game next week and from there on in the rest of the season.
From the 48.5-yard line. Up the middle comes Campfield. Campfield to the 41, and that's another first down.
But Campfield does a good job of going inside, then breaking loose, and is finally tackled there by Carl Allen, number 27. But the point I was going to make is, so much of the time, fresh legs make a big difference.
You saw that. He has 74 yards already for the day.
Your time will be 3.
On the 42, play action by Jaworski on a first down. All the time in the world to Osborne. Osborne dropped by Arneson. And I think Arneson had thoughts of trying to go for that interception.
Yeah, he was tempted. He was tempted, but he, I think, exercised good judgment and deliberately maintained his position and angle to make sure he made a good open field tackle.
As an end result, they don't pick up anything on that play. Maybe a half yard at the most.
Had he gone for the interception and missed, then, of course, it might have been a sizable gain.
So it's a second down. Time, 6:26 left in the third quarter. The score, the Cardinals 13, the Eagles 10. Carmichael, Payne, the wide receivers. Campfield, Franklin, the running backs. This is Campfield. He gets away from Niels and picks up a couple yards to 39. Mike Dawson over there. Also Mark Arneson. Steve Niels forced that play by coming up.
Yeah, and Woody Peoples, number 69, pulled on the play and got a good block from the inside out. They gave him the opportunity to at least cut inside and make a little gain on the play.
So we come to a third down. And still
Good afternoon. At the tone, the
almost
time will be
8
3,
yards. Let's make it
1.
7 yards to go. Changes.
And
John
40
Zook
seconds.
coming in. Allerman. Neal's check out. Bob Bell comes in.
Good afternoon.
Going out
At
is
the tone,
Ron
the time will be
Yankowski.
3, 1.
There's Vermeil looking on. His
And
team
50
down by
seconds.
3. They've won 4 of the last 6 games.
Good afternoon.
See if they try to hit their tight end again.
2.
That tight end would be Osborne, who's in there in place of Crefley, who's hurt. Campfield got back, and a mishandled snap, a flag on the play.
Tone, the time will be 3,
Campfield got back, then Jaworski didn't get the snap, and then a flag was thrown.
Good afternoon. At the tone,
You know,
the
that time they
will
were in
be
a
3,
triple wing
2.
formation. They had Osborne on the right side.
20 seconds.
They had Franklin on the right side. And
That's surprising. It's offside against St.
Good
Louis.
afternoon.
well, that is a
Tone, the
surprise.
time
I
will
thought it
be
was on
3, 2.
the Philadelphia Eagles.
Maybe that's the reason
And
they didn't
30
get
seconds.
the exchange completed. Somebody may have been offside, causing that problem.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 2. And 40 seconds.
So the 5-yard step off.
Offside. Defense. Number 40. Third down.
Well, that's the safety, Doug Green. He must have moved up.
And 50
I don't know if he was
seconds.
going to come on a blitz or what, but he moved up, and he was offside.
Good afternoon. At the tone,
Green
the
now
time will
leads
be
the
3,
football game, and it's a 3rd down and 2 yards to go. So we have a timeout with 5:16 to go. 3rd quarter.
Good afternoon.
The
At the
Cardinals
time will be
with
3,
a 3-point lead. So we're ready to go with 5:16 to go in this 3rd quarter. We have a 3rd down and 2 for the Eagles.
And 20 seconds.
At the 34-yard line of the Cardinals, trailing by 3, 13 to
Good
10.
afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 4. And 30
Jaworski
seconds.
gives to Campfield, and he's not going to get it. Good reaction by Steve Neal.
Good afternoon.
Neal's just going to submarine under there
4.
and cut everybody down.
And 40 seconds.
And now they want him to go for it on a 4th down, but
Good afternoon.
I don't know.
The
Looks
time
like
will
we
be
have
3,
Cleveland Franklin
4.
shaking up now for Philadelphia, and I don't
50
think they
seconds.
have any backs left to bring in there if he has to come out. He's kind of wandering around in that
Good afternoon.
backfield.
At the tone, the time
with
will
his
be
head
3,
down.
5.
This has
Exactly.
been a hard-hitting football game.
Yes, it has been. And that time they had Carmichael in tight on a
afternoon.
wingback
Tone, the
position
time will be
on the
3,
right side that
5.
time, trying to help Osborne with a block. They didn't do a very good job, and as a result, it looked like he was trying to throw
Good
a
afternoon.
spitball at a
Tone, the
battleship
time
that
will be
time because
3,
they didn't make any
5.
progress.
Well, the Eagles called timeout.
20
The
seconds.
partisan Eagle crowd doesn't like it at all. But there is timeout at the 4:41 mark, and that gives
Good
us time to
afternoon. At the
remind
tone,
you
the time
about
will
our
be
programming
3,
coming up
5.
tonight on CBS.
And
They have our
30
Sunday
seconds.
best, starting with 60 Minutes. Always an outstanding show. Then it's All in the Family, and it's
afternoon.
new
At
time
the
8,
tone, the
7
time will
Central
be
and Mountain.
3, 5.
Followed by the comedy show
And
about
40
us. Then
seconds.
Kaz, now seen an hour earlier. He's going to defend a baseball
Good
player
afternoon.
charged
At
with
the tone,
assault
the time
in that
will be
new
3,
program.
5.
And then Lucy runs away from home
And 50
and
seconds.
winds up as a hostage as Dallas, the Big D, moves to its new night
Good
tonight,
afternoon. At the
right
tone,
here
the
on
time will be
CBS.
3, 6.
So here's the story,
Exactly.
Hank. We have a 4th down 2. Now, you still got a lot of time left in this game. You're too far out
Good
for the
afternoon.
field
At the
goal.
tone, the time
The
will be
fans
3,
obviously want him to
6.
go for it.
Well, you can't ever do anything on what the fans want you to do. You have to do what you think is best for your team. And if this is what they feel
the time will be 3,
is the thing to do, then that's what you do.
And 20
Obviously, Dick Vermeil feels they're going to try to go for it. This would be really a perfect time for
Good
a play-action
afternoon.
pass.
The time
It'd
will
be a
be
good
3,
feast or famine
6.
thing. It's a good opportunity
And
for a
30 seconds.
big play. If you don't make it, the field position is not that bad anyhow.
Here they go.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the
4th
time
down.
will be 3,
It's a long 2 to go.
and 40 seconds.
Everybody's in tight.
Good afternoon. At the
In
tone,
motion,
the time will be
Carmichael.
3, 6.
Campfield,
And 50
he got
seconds.
Billy Campfield, straight ahead. You know, on a lot of occasions this year, Jaworski likes to sneak that football himself.
Exactly.
That time he gave to the rookie. And it's a 1st down,
Good
Philadelphia.
afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 7.
That was John Shira who came in to run that play. He scored a touchdown earlier this year against New England, the game we saw.
afternoon.
Hank.
At the
Very
tone, the time
versatile
will be
player,
3,
runs that
7.
kind of a play very well, and also the rollout, the John Shira operated the offense on that last play, number 21.
That's right. Now, Shira's the guy that rolled out, took it in against New England. He comes in here. I'm sure the Cardinals were aware that he could run. Instead, he handed off.
Good afternoon.
And they got enough for the first down.
Shira actually just kept the ball himself. He faked the handoff and ran behind the ball carrier and kept it in for himself for the first down.
From the 32, first down.
The time will be 3, 7, and 50 seconds.
Jaworski. Richard Osborne can't hang on. Defending on a play was Tim Carney. Boy, he dropped back there in a hurry from his linebacking spot. Osborne coming in here hasn't caught all that many passes, 2 for 6. But he's playing in place of the injured Krefley as the Eagles have been nicked in this game. Montgomery out, Krefley out.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be
And Pedersen shaken up.
At 20 seconds.
Boy, this is incredible. The Jets have been scoring a lot of points, but New England's putting it on them today.
But New England, I tell you, once they get ahead of there with that fine team they have, it's hard to play catch-up football against them.
Wilbert Montgomery has now checked in. Montgomery is back in at running back.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 30 seconds.
Safety blitz.
Good afternoon. At
That's
the
his
tone, the time will be 3,
This is coming up, and a catch has been made. The deflection was picked up by Osborne, but Carmichael was hit just before the ball arrived.
Yeah, Carl Allen, it was a safety blitz, and listen for the call. Carl Allen was covering Carmichael man for man. He was going inside when he saw the safety man vacate that area on the safety blitz, but Carl Allen, number 27, definitely made the hit before the ball, before he had a chance to make the catch. Pass interference on the play.
Pass interference. Defense. Number 27. First down.
The time will be 3, 9.
Here we see it again. Watch the blitz. Watch 56, the linebacker. The strong safety, number 23, Ken Stone, blitzing.
3, 9.
And there you see Carmichael being interfered with by Carl Allen, number 27, first and 10, St. Louis, or Philadelphia.
At the 19-yard line. Canfield back in at running back, along with Cleveland Franklin.
Good afternoon.
Give to Franklin.
The time will be 3.
He fumbles the ball. And I believe St. Louis has recovered.
That time they had another safety blitz.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3, 10. And 10
Watch
seconds.
23. Ken Stone came in on the play again. I'm surprised that he tried to run the ball. There was too many people in there. There's no place to go. There's Bobby Pollard, number 82, being blocked, number 7 by 72, Wade Key. But there you see the ball pop loose, and watch Stone, 23, recover the fumble.
10.
Kenny Stone, who has an interception of this game, coming up with a fumble recovery. And that long drive comes to a halt at the 16-yard line.
The time will be 3, 10.
Easton Ransom now in at tight end. This is Jim Otis. And Otis hammers it out to the 20, just across the 20-yard line. That was a long, long drive for the Eagles, but they don't come away with anything.
The time will be 3, 11.
And it's going to bring up second down and still 5 yards to go.
You know, that's the second time, only the second time they've run that play to the right side was Jim Otis. The first time they picked up a first down on first and 10. That time, 5 yards.
All right, we have an injury. Looking ahead to the CBS Sports Spec. Next Saturday, 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 Central and Pacific. Some boxing. Howard Davis of Olympic fame going against Louis Davila of Puerto Rico, who also competed in the 72 Olympics and the world's strongest man. The wheelbarrow race, 750 pounds. They're going to wheel it up a hill 100 feet. The fifth event in the world's strongest men.
11.
And also looking ahead to the Washington, D.C. International. Broadcast live, a mile and a half turf race held at the Laurel Racecourse in Maryland.
And 50
Weah, who won the Man of War Stakes, will be there. Trillion, the leading filly in Europe, competing. That'll be 4 o'clock Eastern next Saturday. The Washington, D.C. International. Well, the man that's shaken up is Carl Hairston. That's the second time in this game that he has been shaken up. Coming back from an earlier, looked like a shoulder problem. And now they're Taking a long, hard look at him. Dick Vermeil has got to be concerned about all the people he's getting banged up here. He's got a tough road to hoe this back half of the schedule. Next week it's Green Bay coming in here.
Good afternoon.
That's the tough thing about the 16-game schedule. I'm sure that everybody's concerned about the fact that they only have 45 people. And if you have a rash of injuries, it's very difficult to replace those people with quality replacements. And as a result, the quality and efficiency of your team diminishes, and you really have a problem. And it's happened to so many teams so far this season.
Good afternoon.
Well, Lotus picked up 5 yards, so it'll be 2nd down and 5. And looks like Harrison's shaking it off again. He's a tough guy. Coming in to replace him is Lynn Burnham.
The time will be 3:13.
And here come the Cardinals with Steve and Tilly as the wide receivers. We haven't seen a lot of Gray since he was shaken up in this game.
Good afternoon, Tone. The time will be 3:13.
Wayne Morris. And Morris got a couple of yards. So it's going to come to a 3rd down.
Good afternoon at the Tone. The time will be 3:13.
Morris coming in here averaging 3.5 yards a carry. 338 yards for the year. He's been an excellent receiver. He had 23 catches coming into today's game.
And Charlie Johnson, number 65, made that play.
And 30 seconds.
Harrison, Dennis Harrison now checks in.
Tone. The time will be 3:13.
And firing up is Bob Young and Roger Finney. I think they both left. But it's going to be against the Cardinals. Now that might change your play. You have a 3rd and 2, and after an offside, you have to recall your play possibly.
The tough thing about the Cardinals is the fact that they really have had a lot of difficulty trying to run. The only one who has really had any degree of success. Let's listen for the call.
Tone. The time will be 3:14.
That was Roger Finney.
The only way they've really succeeded in making any yardage really with Jim Otis running to the right side behind, the fine offensive tackle, Dan Deerdorf, number 72.
And 20 seconds.
So now it's 3rd down and 7.
Good afternoon, Tone. The time will be 3:14. And 30 seconds.
See if they try to get to the tight end again.
Good afternoon,
That
Tone. The
ball
time
might
will
have been
be
deflected a little bit. As the pressure was coming in, Randy Logan defending on the far side on Wayne Morris, and it's going to bring up a 4th down.
The time will be 3:14.
They have an opportunity to throw from their formation with the tight end in the backfield because they're waiting for them to shift. They haven't done that yet. Of course, they didn't have good field position, but I think somewhere along the line, if they do that, they'll be successful because they're waiting for them to shift and they can catch them off balance.
Had good pressure that time by the nose tackle Ken Clark, the rookie free agent from Syracuse. There's John Shira going back deep. Clark they bring in on pass rush situations. Hart in the second half, by the way, is 1 of 5 passing. But the Cardinals haven't had the field position in the second half. Here's Wood kicking from the 5. And he gets it high, not all that deep. Shira's going to let it hit. It takes the Cardinal bounce, and it's going to be marked at the 42-yard line.
And 30 seconds.
So the Eagles have the good field position, but they're still down by 3 points with 2:25 to go in this 3rd quarter.
15.
Next week, as we mentioned, the Packers will be coming to the vet to square off against the Eagles. New Orleans goes against Pittsburgh, and with Archie Manning going, you never know what those Saints will do. The Giants against St. Louis. And then other action in the NFL doubleheader. San Francisco versus Atlanta. Detroit squaring off against Minnesota. Dallas, Miami, Tampa Bay, Los Angeles. All that coming your way next Sunday on CBS.
The time will be 3:16.
That was a 39-yard kick that time by Mike Wood. Montgomery is in the backfield along with Cleveland Franklin.
The time will be
Jaworski on the 1st down. He's going deep for Carmichael and picked off. Now wait a minute. Roger Worley is down. That's a down play. Have you ever seen that? Carmichael took the deflection, but Worley's ruled down and incomplete. But the ball never did hit the floor or the field.
Boy, it's interesting to see why they call it like they did, because he caught it in the air. It looked like he did from up here. Watch this. He threw it right into the double coverage. Watch Roger Worley makes a stretching catch, fingertips right in the middle of the ball. Oh, it hit the ground.
Yes, it did.
Yep, it hit the ground. There again is a great illustration of how well the officials see those kind of plays. We thought maybe it was just bounced up and didn't hit the ground, but it definitely did. Good call on the part of the official.
Well, that was quite an effort by Worley, almost picking it off. Roger with 2 interceptions this year. Carmichael very alertly came up with it, but it had touched the ground, and that's where those replays really tell the story. 2nd and 10 for the 42.
Blitz that time.
Jaworski on the play action. He's in trouble. Bob Pollard's got it. Bob Pollard now with 2.5 sacks for the year, and he downed it.
And Tim Kearney that time blitzed on the play. It also created some problems on the outside. Watch 56, Tim Kearney. Here he comes. He's blitzing around the outside. Was picked up, however. But you see Bob Pollard come on the inside and make the tackle on Jaworski.
Well, Pollard has had some outstanding years in the sack department. In 1976, he had 8 sacks in 8 games before he underwent knee surgery. And now from the 33, it's 3rd down. 19 yards to go. 9-yard loss on that last sack.
We might see some kind of a running play on this situation just to make sure they don't get in trouble. Let's see what happens.
Jaworski on the 3rd down. Being chased from behind. He's dropped again. Excellent penetration made by the Cardinals and Mike Dawson this time. 2 successive sacks. The Cardinals only had 9 coming into this game.
Well, they got caught in the blitz again that time. See Bob Pollard, 82, Bill, number 79, providing pressure inside. Dawson, number 73, gets away from his block and tackles Jaworski from behind and throws him for a loss.
Looks like Dawson's having a pretty good afternoon.
Yes, he is. And he played well the last time we saw him against Miami.
Here's Michelle, the kick from the 16-yard line. Back deep is Harrell. And Harrell brings it to about the 45-yard line. So the Cardinals, for the first time in the second half, have picked up some field position with 1:02 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
This would be a good time to throw.
Tomorrow night, CBS brings you a delightful mixture of lighthearted specials and popular Monday night regulars. First, it's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, followed by Puff the Magic Dragon. Then comes MASH, WKRP in Cincinnati and Lou Grant. Enjoy them all right here on CBS.
I started to say this would be a good time to throw with the tight end in the backfield. Well, they're shifting again.
That was only a 27-yard kick by Michelle on 1st down. Hart to Morris. That's the play he tried a little bit earlier.
Exactly.
Which was defended very well by Randy Logan. This time overcovering was John Outlaw.
But he was wide open and the ball was just poorly thrown. It looks like Jim is having a little trouble. I don't know whether he's having any pain or what happened, but he's disappointed with himself, which is very obvious, but that should have been a completed forward pass had he thrown it properly because he was wide open.
What is he now? He's 1 of 6, I believe, in the second half. He's 10 of 19 for the game. So from the 46, 2nd and 10. Mel Gray now has checked in. Gray and Tilley, the wide receivers. Gray had 2 catches for 77 yards in that first half. Complete to Morris. Morris to the midfield stripe, and that's all. And he's going to be 5 yards short of the first down. It'll bring up a 3rd down. Drew Mahalik and Frank Lemaster making the tackle for Philadelphia. So John Shira will come in. Lemaster out. The 5 backs are in defensively.
Exactly.
Hairston also coming out. See Hairston back in. He just keeps getting beat up and comes right back into play.
Good afternoon.
He's a tough competitor. And the thing that you have to do in professional football is play with a little pain. And that's exactly what he's doing out here today.
3rd down, 5.
Time will be 3:21.
Hart's got the protection. That ball is underthrown, and I don't know if there was hit or what happened. Gray looked like he was going to get to the football had it been thrown well, but it just looked like a dying quail on that far side.
Jim Otis again was wide open. You know, the defense, I think, probably relies so much on the fact that the information they receive that they don't throw to Jim Otis very much. He's been open the last 2 or 3 times they've gone back in the pocket to throw. They worried about everybody else but Otis. I think if they locate him on this somewhere along these drives, why they'll find he's going to be wide open, make a big play in a big game.
There's Shira back at the 15. This is Mike Wood. There's his average, 38 yards. He's going to try to kick it away, angling for the far side, and it's not going to be what he wanted.
And 10 seconds.
It's going to be coming out to about the 27. Well, he's still walking. 27-yard line. And that will be the end of the third quarter of play.
22.
So at the end of the third quarter, our score, the St. Louis Cardinals 13, the Philadelphia Eagles 10. We now pause for a word from your local station.
22. And 30 seconds.
The storm flags are flying for everyone when Archie and Edith spend a weekend in the country with their neighbors. Catch the fireworks on All in the Family tonight at 8, 7 Central and Mountain on CBS.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:22. And 50
starts with 60 minutes. Then All in the Family turns into musical bed.
Good afternoon.
On Alice,
the
it's
time
night
will be
school versus
3,
nightlife for
22.
Flo. On Kaz, Katie's story on Kaz's client causes fireworks.
Let's put it on. Let's put it on Montgomery.
3:23.
We never saw it, though. I was looking at something else.
Good afternoon.
24
The time will be 3:23. And 20 seconds.
See, there's a good example of going to his right instead of his left again. See, I don't know what the hell they do.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:23. And 30 seconds.
Now, Hart in the second half is what
At the
now?
tone, the time will be 3:23. And 40 seconds.
Huh?
2 for 8.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3:23. And 50 seconds.
Well, that was a 24-yard kick by Mike Wood, and the Eagles have good field position at the 27.5-yard line.
There was another illustration of the kicker kicking to his right rather than trying to kick to his left because, you know, again, if you miss the kick, it's going to be a bad kick. If you try to kick to your right, if you miss it kicking to your left, it'll go right down the middle, and at least you got a chance to salvage the kick.
Wilbert Montgomery is taken out of the game right now, and coming in was Camfield. Montgomery limping noticeably on that left ankle. Jaworski giving up.
And 30 seconds.
And Franklin moves the ball to the 30-yard line. At the 31. Will bring up a second down. Tim Carney making the tackle.
And 40 seconds.
Philadelphia in the second half has more or less kept possession of that football, had the field position, but
the time will be 3.
they had the big turnover, the fumble on that last drive that blunted their effort. And you can look at the statistics. They've evened up considerably as far as completions are concerned.
25.
Hart in the second half is only 2 for 8, so he has backed off a little bit after a red-hot hand in the first half.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will
Jaworski.
be 3:25.
And almost coming up with the interception is Carl Allen. Allen defending against Carmichael.
He played him tough on the inside that time for the inside move and almost came up with the interception.
Good afternoon. At
There you see Carmichael coming off the ball.
25. And 30 seconds.
And really the timing of the pattern was really the problem. He didn't get the ball to him quickly enough. He had him licked, but by the time the ball was delivered, why Allen made a play and almost made the interception.
Allen already with one interception, that coming in the first series of this game.
At the tone, the time will be 3.
Third down.
25. And 50 seconds.
Jaworski, Carmichael, and he's got it, and he's got a first down.
Exactly.
Carmichael to the 39-yard line. And that's a play that I don't know how you can defend against it.
The time will be 3.
Carney, number 56, was blitzing on the play. It was one for one coverage. You see 56 blitzing. Bob Pollard coming in at the inside. Bob delayed a little bit. Had he come across there like he should have, he might have been able to prevent him from throwing the ball. But it was right on the money. Beautiful timing on the play. First down, Philadelphia.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3.
And the Giants moving ahead of the Saints, 17-7. Saints last week upsetting the Rams. Carmichael has 4 catches now for 63 yards.
26. And 40 seconds.
Jaworski up to Kempfield. And a fumble, and I believe the Cardinals have it. That's the second time in the second half. Mike Dawson is the guy that I believe caused the fumble. And the Cardinals have really been able to strip that ball away from the Eagles.
Dawson did a terrific job on the play. They try to run it up the middle. There we see a picture of Tom Bettis. Here we see it again.
3:27. And 10 seconds.
And so the Eagles lose the football. The Cardinals have it just outside the 40.
3, 28, and 20 seconds.
Let's go back now and see the fumble that the Eagles lost and how it happened.
Good afternoon at the Dome. The time will be
They start
3,
to the left
28.
with the idea of cutting back away from the
And
flow.
30
Look at
seconds.
Dawson, 73, Carney, 56. Watch Bob Pollard here. And Dawson,
Good
but
afternoon.
Pollard hits him
Dome, the
high,
time will be
jars
3,
the ball
28.
loose. And
40
Neal's
seconds.
number 53 finally makes the recovery of the fumble.
So, as an end result, the Eagles have lost 2 fumbles. They've thrown 2
28.
interceptions, 4 big
And
turnovers in this game. Both fumbles coming here in the second half of play. Easton Ransom in motion, Wayne Morris with the pitch. And Randy Logan, he came flying through there. Stopped that play for a little gain. Logan, a vastly underrated strong safety.
29.
Out of Michigan.
And 10 seconds.
And the ball just inside the 40 now. Give him a yard on the play. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Good afternoon at the Dome. The time will be 3,
14 minutes
29.
left in this game.
And 20
The
seconds.
score at halftime was 13-10, and that's how it stands right now.
Good
The
afternoon
difference in
at
this
the Dome.
game
The
thus
time
far,
will
a
be 3,
55-yard
29.
touchdown strike from Hart to Dave's feet. Hart gives off to Jimmy Otis, and Otis breaks it outside of the 30. He's to the 28-yard line, and that's a first down.
He's the only way, really, they've done any successful job of running the football. That was a kind of a semi-counter play, a kind of a high diddle-diddle right up the middle, and he went right up there in great shape and picked up the necessary yardage for the first down. Carl Hairston, number 78, made the tackle. He's coming.
Good afternoon at the Dome. The time
That's
will be
Hairston that's
3,
hurt again, Hank. That's the 3rd time in this game.
Exactly.
So he's down. 11-yard pickup by Otis, and Otis now has 58 yards on 16 carries. He needs 95 for the day to become the all-time Cardinal rusher.
The time will be 3.
So the ball at the 29-yard line. And now, Hank, the Cardinals are in a position where they could really get some breathing room if they can get some points on this
Good
drive.
afternoon at the Dome. The time will be 3.
Yes, they're moving the ball good, and they have excellent field position,
And
of
30
course, and that was a well-designed, well-executed play on a counter with Jim Otis
Good afternoon
going over
at
the left
Dome. The time
side
will be 3.
for a nice gain. Roger Finney
And
doing a
40
good job.
seconds.
Bob Young, 64, doing a good job. And, of course, Tom Banks, the offensive center, also had to do a good job to create that kind of running room for
And 50
Jim Otis.
seconds.
And there's a crowd, a big crowd on hand here at the vet. Well, I think it shows again, Hank, the Cardinals, how much they have missed the offensive line, the fact it hasn't been intact. And today there's been times where you can see that old offensive genius that they had up front where they're blowing people out of there.
Yes, and of course, you know, if they could win this game today, why, it'll be a great stepping stone and give them maybe the kind of impetus they need to go on from here and enjoy, you know, a successful second half of the season, because they've got some outstanding people. And again, I think Bud Wilkinson and his fine staff have done an outstanding job.
Well, Hairston comes up. Hairston comes up, excuse me, Hank, as now Tilley and Mel Gray. Mel Gray fell down as he was coming out here to flank out. There's Otis, 27 yards. That's all he needs. Here's a pass by Will Harrell. It was going to be a pass, and Harrell cuts it down and runs with it. Now, I want to tell you something. Harrell has thrown that pass successfully in his career when he was with the Green Bay Packers.
Good afternoon.
He completed 5 of 10 passes for the Packers, 4 of them going for touchdowns.
You know, it's very obvious that he's done that and run that play quite often in the past because he used good judgment. A lot of times when a halfback has an opportunity to throw the ball, he pulls the pin and throws it anyhow, and he's usually intercepted. That time he used good discretion by keeping the ball and running it himself.
He picked up 4 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Here comes Otis, and Otis is just short of the 20-yard line. So the Cardinals now will come to a 3rd down. Charlie Johnson making the stop for Philadelphia.
And 30 seconds.
So Otis adding a couple more yards to his total. He's carried the ball 17 times, and he likes that kind of work. He likes to be a workhorse.
Yeah, he thrives on work, and the more he runs, the better he's going to get. He gets better and better and stronger as the game progresses. But he's really a super back, a possession-style runner.
Here we go. 3rd down. 3 yards to go. Again to Otis again, and Otis is going to be short, I believe. Now, it's going to be awfully close. He may have, with the spin, made the 1st down yardage, but he's inside the 20. He needs to
And
get
10
just
seconds.
outside the 18 to make it.
Good afternoon.
gonna bring
At
the sticks
Tone,
in.
The time will be 3:33.
From this
And
angle,
20
it's hard to
seconds.
tell whether he made it or not. It's going to be very close.
Good afternoon. At the Tone, the time will be 3:33. And 30 seconds.
First down.
They made it. Just that little spin made all the difference.
The extra effort. That's right. The
Good
balance.
afternoon. At the Tone,
The good
the time
balance.
will be 3:33.
Jim Otis really has very good balance, and that was a great expression of it right there. He got hit, spun off, maintained his balance and leverage, and got the
Good
necessary
afternoon. At the Tone,
yardage
the
for the
time will
first
be
down.
3:33.
They're eating up some time on this drive. We now
And
have
50
12 minutes
seconds.
remaining in the game. Carl Hairston is checked back in for the Eagles. First down at the 18-yard
Tone, the
line.
time will be 3:34.
Here's Otis again. Jim is hit, fumbled. I believe the Cardinals have
Good
recovered.
afternoon. At the Tone, the time will be
That's one thing you won't see him do
3:34.
very often is fumble, but he
And
was
10
jarred
seconds.
loose. And it looks like Jim Hart fell on the
Good
football.
afternoon. At the Tone, the
Yes,
time
he
will
did.
be 3:34. And 20 seconds.
That ball really was popped loose.
Good afternoon. At the Tone, the time will be 3:34.
There's Otis carrying the ball to his left side. They got a pretty good surge, actually. Tom Banks doing a good job
Good afternoon.
He's
At
hit
the Tone,
there
the time will be 3:34.
by Charlie Johnson, 65,
And 30 seconds.
and he's the one that jarred it loose.
All right, back to the live action, 2nd and 16. Wayne Morris, a flag on the play. Morris is taking it in. But there's a flag on the play. Wayne Morris scores, and they're going to bring it back. It is going to be holding against St.
The
Louis.
time will be 3:35. Exactly.
Boy, that play developed in a hurry.
Oh, it was a draw play, and the
Good afternoon.
linebackers got the
Tone,
depth
the time
that
will
they
be
like more than they get on that kind of a
3:35.
play. He zipped
And 10
through there,
seconds.
just like he's running a bag drill that time, and ran in the end zone unmolested for the
afternoon.
touchdown.
Tone,
But
the
there's a
time
holding
will be
penalty and a play. We'll see who it's
3:35.
against in just one
And
moment.
20 seconds.
They really crossed him up on that play. Let's listen.
Good afternoon. At the Tone, the time will be
Offense, number 54, second down.
Tom Banks, that's second time they got him. Let's look at it on a replay.
Good afternoon.
Watch
At the
this.
Tone, the time
Watch
will be
54, the offensive center.
3:35. And 40 seconds.
Yes, you see him holding on to his jersey.
Good afternoon.
And I
At
tell you
the
that
Tone,
Charlie
the time will
Johnson
be
is a real snootful,
3:35.
number 65. Boy, he's
And
tough to
50
block.
seconds.
2nd and 26 now.
Good afternoon. At the
Hart.
Tone, the time will be
He's,
3:36.
what happened? That'll be incomplete. Incomplete pass. Hart had his arm in a downward motion, so that
Good
is ruled an
afternoon.
incomplete
The time will
pass.
be 3:36.
And this crowd here, it's deafening.
And
You
10
can hardly
seconds.
hear yourself think.
Not only that, they're making a lot of noise.
Good afternoon. At the Tone, the time will be 3:36.
Here we see him going back into the pocket.
And 20 seconds.
Deerdorf on the right side.
Good afternoon. At the Tone, the time will be
Watch.
3:36.
He actually did
And
not
30
have his arm
seconds.
going forward. It was a very questionable call.
Good afternoon.
That
At
was
the Tone,
Randy
the time
Logan
will
who
be
came on the safety
3:36.
blitz.
Yep.
And
It was
40
not a forward
seconds.
motion at all. Should have been a fumble.
3rd down now,
Good afternoon. At
26.
the Tone, the time will be 3:36. And 50 seconds.
Hart to Tilly. He's got it.
Good
But that
afternoon.
is
At
going to
the
be
Tone,
short
time
of the
will be
first down.
3:37.
What a catch by Pat
Exactly.
Tilly. And now they're throwing some debris on the field.
I tell you, the other thing, it was a great throw by Jim
afternoon.
Hart
At the Tone, the
for
time
right
will
where
be
it had to be thrown, right into the
3:37.
traffic area.
And
Tilly
10
made a
seconds.
diving catch, and now they put him in a position where they can at least try for the field goal and possibly come out of here
Good
with 3 more
afternoon. At
points.
the Tone, the time will be 3:37.
And so Jim Bakken will come in, and it's
20
been a
seconds.
shaky day for this veteran. He missed a 29-yard field goal. He's missed the point after.
Good afternoon. At
And
the
now he's
Tone,
going
the
to
time
attempt
will
a
be
31-yarder.
3:37. And 30 seconds. Good afternoon. At the Tone, the time will be 3.
Bakken's kick is on the way,
And 40
Well, if that's not
and
good-
he's got it.
Yeah, I was going to say, that looked perfect.
So
Good
Jim
afternoon.
Bakken has
Tone, the
now
time
made it
will
a
be
16-10
3:37.
football game with exactly
50
10 minutes left as the Cardinals pick up 3 points.
Good afternoon. And 10 seconds.
There's a shot of Bud Wilkinson, 10 minutes away if the score remains the
Good
same from
afternoon.
winning his
Tone, the
first
time will be
game in the
3:39.
National Football League.
And
Mike
20
Wood
seconds.
kicking off. Little collision over there on the return. And this is Terry Tatalo, who's a linebacker who played at UCLA, brings it out to the 30-yard line. Well, you know, really that field goal doesn't help you all that much. A touchdown and a point after still could win it for Philadelphia.
Well, the only thing about the field goal, the thing that it really does is that you know on defense that they have to make a touchdown, and the field goal is not going to help them, so you play a little differently defensively once you get in the scoring area.
We have another man shaken up on the play. It just shows you how tough and how physical this football game has been today.
And it also is a great illustration as you see games week in and week out how difficult it is to win consistently in this league.
And when you're looking for that first one, look at this score. I want to show you this one. New England leading the Jets in the fourth quarter, 55-14. The score here is 16-10 at the vet.
20 seconds.
Well, we have a delay right now at the 9:48 mark. 16-10 our score.
41.
As the Cardinals now are going to have to play some tough defense. The guy that's shaken up is Doug Green, number 40.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time
Green,
will be 3:41.
very impressive third-round draft pick
and 40 seconds.
out of Texas A&I. Been using him a lot as the fifth defensive back and on the special teams. And so from the 30, Ron Jaworski's team down by 6.
You know, one thing that's interesting about this Philadelphia team, they opened the game with a play-action pass for their tight end, succeeded, and they haven't thrown it again the rest of the game.
Of course, they're playing now without Krefley, who's been shaken up in this game. Here's Jaworski giving off to Cleveland Franklin, and he has 5 yards to the 35-yard line. John Zook made the stop for St. Louis.
The one thing you're not going to see this team do, and that's panic. This Philadelphia team, there's a lot of time. They're going to do what they think they can do well. They're not going to try to get that 7 points too quickly unless they get the right situation and the right defense.
That's Hank Stram with that analysis. I'm Gary Bender. Glad to have you with us. We still have 9:22 left, and you're looking at Dick Vermeil, who needs this football game to keep his playoff hopes alive and well in Philadelphia.
They're featuring a new formation now, a double wing formation, trying to contain the outside linebacker so they can run straight ahead.
There's a give to Franklin again, and he's very close to that first down. His forward progress will be just short of the 40-yard line. Mike Dawson made the tackle, and it'll be third down.
The time will be 3.
You know, Dawson, they talked to us, Hank, about the fact he's had a tough time making the switch to a nose tackle.
It certainly doesn't look like it in the 2 games that we have seen. It looks like, you know, he's really, and the key to that defense, that the nose man has to be a good player and has to control the block at that center, so they have to block 2 people on him, whereby it leaves the linebacker free. But I think he's done a terrific job in the 2 games we've seen him play.
Well, they're going to measure to see if they got the first down. I don't believe they do.
No, I think they're short of the first down.
The time will be 3.
So we go to a third down.
And 30 seconds.
And John Shira comes in, and I got to admit, the last time he was in, I didn't know he had the football.
Yeah, he's
going to watch this one for me?
Well, you don't miss many of them, Gary.
40 seconds.
So let's see. The last time I thought Camfield went on a dive, he kept it. Let's see what number 21 has up his sleeve this time. He's going to give on a straight handoff to Cleveland Franklin, and it's close. He needs to get just about on top of the 40-yard line. Now,
at the tone, the time will be 3.
See where they're going to mark it.
The one official looks like he's got it marked right on the 40. The other one marked it a little short. It's going to be very close.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will
Remember
be 3.
that Redskins game? They were trailing early against San Francisco. Redskins now lead at 35-13. I'll tell you, that's not on top of the 40. They've moved it back, haven't they?
By the time they got through moving it around, they got it back away from the 40, but it looks like it might be.
Boy, they are just. They make it?
Yeah,
they did.
They just barely made it.
So the short yardage quarterback, John Shira, comes out. That's called a real specialty when you got a quarterback that you can run on those situations.
And you're really concerned about that kind of a situation because oftentimes you have a problem with a snap between the center and the quarterback. And so it takes a lot of courage, and you must have a lot of confidence in that quarterback to run that kind of a play.
Well, he took Dick Vermeil to 2 Rose Bowl wins for the UCLA. First down. Here's Jaworski on the first down. Carmichael. The big guy is inside the 40 to the 36-yard line. They went for the interception and didn't get it.
Carl Allen really had him covered well. I was surprised. Then, of course, he tried to make the interception, it looked like.
30 seconds.
Carmichael, here's a pocket pass. No
Good
blitz.
afternoon. At the tone, the time will
And he
be
throws the
3,
ball right on
45,
target.
And 40 seconds.
Carmichael really made a good power catch there on Allen.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time will be 3.
Picks up a
45.
sizable gain, and now it's first and
50
10.
seconds.
Philadelphia. Great play.
That sizable gain was 22 yards to be exact.
Good afternoon.
From the
At tone, the time
37.
will be 3.
First down, Philadelphia. They trail 16-10. 7:11 left in the game. Jaworski.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the time
He's
will
going to
be 3.
run. Carney's over there, and he picked up about 3 yards on the play. And Jaworski can run. I don't think people realize how mobile he is.
Well, they talk about him being the Polish rifle, but he's a pretty good Polish runner, too. And you talk about Polish power. You talk about Bobby Vinton, who is from this area, too, the Polish prince.
Good
And
afternoon.
Bobby,
At the tone, the time will be 3. 46.
then we've got a Polish cardinal
And
here,
30
too.
seconds.
Steve Basarko.
This is a history lesson.
Yeah, that's right.
Good afternoon. At
From the
tone, the time will be
32-yard
3,
line now. Second
46.
down. He picked up more yardage than I
And
thought.
40
He got
seconds.
5 yards on that play. 2nd and 5 from the 32.
Good afternoon. At the tone, the
Carmichael.
time will be 3. 46.
Flanked out. They have 3 wide receivers out now. No tight end. Here's a give to Franklin. Franklin's got the first down. Forward progress just short of the 25-yard line.
That time that was a trap. Wade Keys, 72, blocking and trapping Bob Pollard. A trap meaning, of course, that you let the defensive end or tackle come across the line of scrimmage like he's not being blocked, and then you block him from the inside out. That time with Wade Key. Nice run, good execution. First and 10, Philadelphia.
Well, they bring their tight end Osborne back in. Middleton checked out. I should say Middlebrook. So they're back to the original 2 wide receivers and a tight end. First down from the 26 of St. Louis. Jaworski on the first down, a blitz. Kenny Kane, he got it. Kane was separated from the ball, but that was a case of being out of bounds after being hit by Roger Worley.
Yes, but here again, the official did a good job. He was right on top of the scene. Here it is. Watch the blitz. Watch Kurt Allerman coming in there, 37. Ken Green blitzing from his safety position. He reads it, gets the ball right on the money. Roger Worley is the defensive back. Official spots it, first and 10.
Look at it again.
Here's another shot. Boy, the great thing about it was that Jaworski threw the ball right at the numbers, a perfect throw.
And he did it with the guy breathing down his neck. Jaworski back on first down again. He's just going to throw that one away. Osborne was making his cut, but Jaworski had nobody to go to.
I'm surprised he threw that kind of a play. That would have been a good time. And this is not to be construed as a second guess, but usually in this situation, this would have been a great time for him to run some kind of a play-action pass to hold the linebackers and make one of the defensive back take a sniff of the fake and possibly get a big play. That time they all responded very well to the coverage, and he had no chance at all of completing the pass.
Jaworski 17 of 27, 180 yards, 2 interceptions, a touchdown, and it's now 2nd and 10.
Good play for a good time for a draw play right here.
Franklin and Canfield, the running backs behind Jaworski. Jaworski. Osborne and Ken Green reached out. I don't think he had a hand on the ball, but he had to bother Osborne on that particular play.
Yes, he did, but actually he was open, and had the ball been thrown, watch him back in the pocket again, had the ball been thrown properly, it was just a little bit too high and a little bit too long, or else it would have been a touchdown. A great effort by Osborne, number 86, the tight end.
Not to take anything away from Osborne, but that's where a guy like Krefli you'd like to have had in. He's been such a money player for this team. So now it comes their 3rd and 10. Jaworski to Carmichael. That was just a timed throw, and Carmichael did locate the ball.
He threw it a little bit too quickly. And Carl Allen that time was up there pretty tight on him. He tried to throw the ball over the top because he had an advantage in height, but he didn't throw it out in front enough and take advantage of the end zone area. And Carmichael didn't locate the ball soon enough to make the play.
You know, I don't believe they're going to go for a field goal. It's 4th down. They're down by 6. There's 5:53 left in this game, and they're going for it.
Good afternoon, at the tone. The time
They're not going to go for the 3 points. I am surprised.
Good afternoon, at the tone. The time will be 3.
Jaworski back.
50. And 50
He's in trouble. Carmichael broken up. Excellent reaction by Carl Allen. And now you come away with nothing, and Jaworski is down. Jaworski's hurt outside the 25-yard line.
Good afternoon, at the tone. The time will be 3:51.
You know, I'm really surprised, and here again, when you talk about these things, it's always easy to look back. Hindsight is so good, but I was surprised that they went right into 4 passes in this area. They ran the ball halfway decently, and then down in this scoring area, they threw 4 consecutive passes.
And are you surprised they didn't go for the field goal?
Yes, I'm surprised at that. There's a lot of time left.
So there's 5:44 left. The Cardinals lead 16-10.
Good afternoon, at the tone. The time will
Ron
be 3.
Jaworski is still down, and Hank, let's go back and see what happened to number 7 on that 4th down, trying to hit Carmichael.
Well, here you see Mike Dawson got good penetration, and as Jaworski threw the ball, released it, he was in the process of making a play on Jaworski.
Let's go back again. That was kind of quick, and see if we can pick it up again. But here's Dawson, 73.
He comes through there nice and free. Jaworski is all spread out, releasing the ball, falling away as he throws it. Dawson tackles him high and throws him to the turf, and evidently he was shaken up on the play.
I imagine that's where the damage is done, when they hit.
That's right, when he hit the ground.
Well, here's the situation. They did not go for the field goal. They tried to go for 6 on the 4th down. The ball is turned over to the Cardinals at their own 13. 5:44 left. Well, this is a very unhappy crowd right now in Philadelphia. Oh, just that's tackling by the face mask.
A gum grabber.
A teeth rattler.
That's right.
Good afternoon, at the tone. The time will be
That was very flagrant, and you know that Philadelphia is not happy right now, and Jim Otis about lost his upper part of his body on that play.
Good afternoon.
Here's the
at
final.
the tone.
New
The time
England
will be
defeated the Jets 55-21. That's the most points ever scored by New England.
They're coming on strong. We saw them a couple of times earlier in the season, and 3 times specifically.
20 seconds.
Face mask.
Charlie Johnson, I think, is the guilty party.
The time will be 3:54.
Here you see the face mask by Charlie Johnson, number 65.
That'll be 15 yards.
The time will be 3:54. And 40 seconds.
Face mask, number 65 defense, 15 yards, first down.
So they get out of a real jam field position-wise.
And 50 seconds.
There's your time, 5:39.
And there's a lot of time left in this game for a lot of things to happen. The important thing is that St. Louis has to maintain possession and keep the ball. They're going to run right. Let's see if they run right.
Gray and Tilly, the wide receivers. Here comes Jim Otis. Otis hammers it out. He's close to a 5-yard pickup as his forward progress just short of the 35.
Now, that's only the 3rd time they have run that play, and on each occasion, if I remember correctly, they gained 10 yards the first time, 5 the second, and 5 the third. 20 yards in 3 carries, running behind Deerdorf on that read play by Jim Otis. And there you see Tommy Bettis, the defensive coordinator and our defensive backfield coach at Kansas City for many years, who did such a great job for me.
Otis now has 70 yards on 20 carries. 2nd down, 4. Goes right back to number 35 again, and he wedges it out for a first down. He just moved that pile ahead about a yard or 2.
And I would line up in that same formation on 1st and 10 and run over Deerdorf again and give it to Otis. They've done a good job over on that side. Let's see if they do it again this time.
Time starting to become very important in this game. 4:38, and it's moving.
And you know, the other thing about it is the Eagles have already exhausted 2 timeouts. They only have 1 left in this game.
Gray, Tilly, the wide receivers, that forward wall now of the Cardinals starting to get some running room for Otis.
Now they're going to run to the left.
And here comes Otis again, and Jim protecting the football to the 43-yard line.
56.
That play has been much more successful to the right than it has been to the left. I'm surprised they ran to the left that time. Let's see if they come back and run it to the right this next time.
Well, when you got a guy like Deerdorf on the right, that's a reason, isn't it?
That's right. You got a good horse, you better ride it.
There's Johnny Rowland. Now, he's the guy that's the all-time leading rusher for the Cardinals. But his record is in jeopardy, as Otis needed 95 yards to break his record coming in. He now has 78. And he might get it if they keep this drive going.
And another formation again.
This time they're going to go to Wayne Morris. And Morris doesn't get much. They haven't been able to get outside all afternoon long.
It's tough to get outside from that formation because you have to bring the ball all the way across from the left side of the center to the right side. It's a long way to go, and this team reacts so well that it's very difficult to go sideways and do it from a delayed formation.
So third down coming up, 3rd and 6. Now, Hank, do you put the ball in the air now, or do you still stay on the ground and try to hang on to this 6-point lead?
I think they're going to probably try to run something, a very high percentage play, maybe a quick screen, or just run the ball, and then hope that they have to go all that way. Here they're going to come back in the pocket.
He's going to throw it. Far side, Gray. It's picked up. Herman Edwards. And so now the Eagles are a long ways from being out of this one as Herman Edwards on a pass intended for Mel Gray. That is Edwards' 4th interception of the year.
The way it turned out, Herman Edwards makes a fine interception.
So now 60 yards away. The Eagles are down by 6 points. 2:45 left in this game. Jaworski on first down. Pollard is back there. He gets it off. And they make it out to the 45, 46-yard line. A pickup with 6 yards on the play. Tell you, Pollard was just a split second from coming away, and we have a man shaken up on the play again for Philadelphia.
Looks like it might be Franklin. I'm not sure if
it was Franklin who caught the ball.
Yeah.
And that's who's down at that point. And they just virtually have run out of running backs in this game. It's been intense. It's been hard hitting. This is one of the real tough rivalries in the NFL. There's no lost love between these two football teams, and they have played that way today. We have a timeout. 2:25 left. The Cardinals on top. Gary Bender with Hank Stram. We have 2 minutes, 25 seconds left in this one. Right now, a delay while Cleveland Franklin is being administered to as he was shaken up on that last play. He gained 5 yards on a pass reception where it'll be 2nd and 5. And the Eagles still have the time remaining to do something. But it's been tough. Jaworski, is good to see him back in there, Hank. I was afraid he wasn't going to be able to return after he took that shot on that previous series.
Well, the way he walked off the field looked like he was all right.
There he is. He's had a long afternoon in some ways. He's 18 of 32 for 185 yards, 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. Here's the final. Cincinnati has won their first game of the year. They defeated the Houston Oilers 28-13, and the Cardinals would like to duplicate that.
And how about this close score? Pittsburgh beating the Kansas City Chiefs 27-24. Very good football game, evidently, in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh coming back from that setback on Monday night. Well, so right now there's only one team in the NFL that has not won at least one game. Cincinnati winning. John Shira has now come into the backfield, I guess. I guess he'll be one of the running backs. You don't think this guy isn't versatile? So he and Billy Campfield will be the running backs. Hogan couldn't play. Betterson's been hurt. Montgomery's been hurt. Franklin is hurt. And now they're down to a quarterback playing a running back spot. That's remarkable. He seems to know what he's doing out there. And we may have a delay. Nope, the 2-minute warning is here. The 2-minute warning. Took them a long time to get that play underway. So with 2 minutes with which to decide this issue, the St. Louis Cardinals trying desperately to win their first game for Bud Wilkinson, lead it 16-10. Well, there's some excitement here in Veterans Stadium. We have 2 minutes left. And the Eagles, who trail by 6 at their own 45-yard line, 2nd down and 5.
One thing that's important is that they only have one timeout left.
Jaworski back to throw. Over the middle, wide open is Camfield. And he's got a first down. He's at the Cardinal 48-yard line. Mark Arneson is over there. I see Cleveland Franklin was back in after that timeout. So Franklin's back in with Camfield. They're not huddling. They have another play call. 1:40, and the clock is running. First down at the 48.5 of St. Louis. Jaworski again. Pressure put on by Zook. Incomplete. Franklin can't hang on, and in all fairness to him, after the shot he took a couple plays ago, it might be a little difficult to hang on to a pass.
You know, and the ironic thing about that last play, they had a double screen set up, one to the left and all to the right. They faked to the right to Camfield and then threw a left back here to Franklin, but ironically enough, Camfield was wide open on the right side. Had they run the screen to the right side, they'd have made a lot of yardage.
Thanks to our spotter, Bill Friel, who does an excellent job here in the Philadelphia area. Our statistician, Jerry Bruderler. The ball at the 48.5. Orrin Middlebrook is now checked in with 1:29 left, 2nd and 10. Good blocking up front. Carmichael off his fingertips as Worley and Ken Stone were there. And he's disappointed, and he's getting up very slowly.
But Carmichael that time Carmichael coming across the middle that time looked like he was a little concerned about people coming from the backside. The concentration span wasn't nearly as strong as it should have been, and as a result, he was waiting to get hit rather than concentrating on catching the football.
Richard Osborne now in at a tight end. Cleveland defeated Buffalo 41-20. A lot of scoring today in the NFL. 3rd down and 10. 1:22 remaining in the game. Jaworski's got protection again. And he intended it for Osborne, but he had double coverage on him. So now it's a 4th down. John Zook was really harassing Jaworski back there. He was scrambling after him. He stayed after him.
He was right in his face that time, and as a result, he threw the ball before he wanted to, and it didn't make any difference because the coverage was very good.
So with 1:16, they come to a 4th down.
But this is a great illustration, Gary, of how important that field goal was, because now they don't have to worry about anything but the fact that they know they have to get 6. They can play deep enough and still come up with the right kind of plays.
Orrin Middlebrook, Ken Payne, and Harold Carmichael, the wide receivers. They do not have a tight end in. Jaworski back. Over the middle, Carmichael. He's to the 25-yard line and on a 4th down. The Eagles are still alive.
Well, that was a big play and a great clutch throw by Jaworski and a big catch by Carmichael.
And they've used their last timeout.
Yes.
The Eagles have called their 3rd and final timeout with 1:05. So that always presents a problem for you, but what a completion to Carmichael.
You know, one of the raps against Carmichael, very candidly, is the fact that, you know, he has trouble catching the ball across, coming across and in traffic, but he sure made the catch here. The concentration was good. Catches it right in the middle area, makes the catch. Look at the way he's carrying that football. He finally tucks it in close, but that's a good way to lose it.
That was a 23-yard pass completion, just short of the 25. So with no timeouts left, 1:05 left in the game, the Eagles have their work cut out for them as Ron Jaworski goes back to the huddle.
Got a lot of time with 1:05 left in this area of the field on the 25.5-yard line.
Boy, Hank, it's tough to win in the NFL, but I think it shows again how tough it is to win that first one.
Oh, it really is.
All right, here we go. 1:05 left. This series has been this way every year. Last year, the Cardinals winning with 38 seconds left in Busch Stadium. Jaworski on the first down, a blitz, far side, Carmichael. He has it. Harry Smith defending on the play. He's at the 8-yard line. 58 seconds left, and Carmichael's a bread and butter guy now.
Tim Kearney that time was blitzing on the play. I tell you that Jaworski stood right in that pocket beautifully that time and threw it right on the money to Carmichael. Perry Smith covering on the play, number 45.
17-yard pass completion following a 23-yard pass completion to Carmichael.
Uh-oh, they got bump and run on the right side. See if they try to get the ball up there. Carmichael again.
At the 8-yard line. First and goal, Philadelphia. Jaworski back to throw. Rolling out. Throwing. And almost was Richard Osborne. Osborne, the tight end, that's twice now. He's had 2 in the end zone that he almost had.
Yeah, well, the first one, he didn't have much of a chance. That one, he should have caught. It was in his hands. He should have made the catch, and it should have been a touchdown for Philadelphia.
That's a funny-looking 5, but that is 51 seconds left in this game. Second and goal from the 8-yard line. I'll tell you, Bud Wilkinson has gray hair, but it may be getting even grayer right now.
Oh, this is murder to have to endure 51 seconds of this kind of torture trying to win your first football game.
The crowd here, you can hardly hear yourself think.
Same situation with bump and run on the far side with Carmichael.
Jaworski back, a blitz. It's picked off. Roger Worley. Worley intercepts. What caused that was the blitz up the middle. It looked like Ken Stone was the guy that came up the middle and forced Jaworski to throw the football. Look at Bud Wilkinson.
There's Bud. He's got to be very happy and very justifiably so. Here he is going back into the pocket. And he had no chance at all to complete that play. None whatsoever. Ken Stone. Watch Worley making the interception.
But Ken Stone forced that, Hank, maybe a split second before Jaworski wanted to throw it.
Yes, and he really had no business throwing it out to the outside because Worley had the inside leverage all the way. He had no chance in the world to complete that pass.
Well, it hasn't been easy, but it appears as though the Cardinals have won their first one, as now the Eagles have no timeouts remaining. And interestingly enough, Cincinnati also won today, so everybody's won at least one in the NFL.
Isn't it ironic that last week both teams who were undefeated lost? This week, both teams who had not won a game, both teams won on the same Sunday.
Look at this. I tell you, did you see Bud? Look at him. Is he happy?
Happiness is in the air.
Look at that. Jim Hannafin, the offensive line coach, hugging him. There's Steve Niels, Kurt Allerman. Eric Williams has been out of this ball game. He was shaken up early. And I'll tell you, what has it been? 16 years, I think, since he's won a football game, since coming back from collegiate coaching. Look at him. The time is over, and the Cardinals have won their 9th in a row over the Philadelphia Eagles. The final score from Veterans Stadium. The St. Louis Cardinals 16, the Philadelphia Eagles 10.